What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl, Dara. I'm Sharif. Oh, hello. And as per usual, we're going to wait for everyone to migrate on over from the other stream so we can do the Katina patented roll call. And we already have a couple of people in the house. Steve A. Pillsbury, the crazy Stitch lady, who, by the way, doesn't sew, apparently. Hamster. We got Juan Padilla, Pitchbull, Mateus Lane, Bob Dubb, Mr. Long Shorts, Rich Naples, Benson Yang. We got David Sparks. We got Ron Miller. We got Sebastian. 420 Bud Monster. I wonder what he's into. We got Victoria, Sidu. We got TX Trader, Rohan, MM. We got Jose, Anthony. Oh my goodness, there's just too many, man. What's up to everybody? I am Big Adam DeLuce, obviously. What's up, my guy? All right, Dara, before we go into the topics today, let me just take you through this AAPL trade, because while we're still holding this bad boy, and we were just like a second ago, $1 in the money on this monster. Look, you know I only start trading right before the show, so we obviously didn't take this Apple from the top, from that 185 down. So when I saw this one pop back up, and then I saw the makings of a new lower high over here, I started salivating. No, I'm kidding, of course. But the idea here was to wait for that move down. It popped up. It tried to make a new high, but then the market said, no, you don't. Brought it back down. So now we have a lower high. And then it tried to pop up again, but the market said, no, you don't again. And that's when I said, okay, here comes the making of another lower high. Let's get short. And we've been basically taking this one all the way down through the break of 183. I really haven't been timing Apple today with the futures. Apple seems to be moving independently. It's independently weak. We have new interest rate data that came in, and that's maybe really getting a lot of people worried about holding this until, you know, that profitability starts coming into play on Apple again, whether through services or new devices or the AI that we've been all waiting to hear Apple talk about. So it's more of like, hey, we'll get out of this trade or stock or investment for now until I hear more. And I couldn't be happier, because I got to tell you, anytime this dips into the 170s, 160s, I'm going to be a buyer. I added 5 more shares of Tesla yesterday at 182.5. I'll be doing that incrementally. I'm holding about 20 shares now of Tesla. So I'll be looking to pick up these beat down names for my swing, for my long-term investments as they dip down. So that's kind of my move there. Now, let's have a look at this AAPL trade, because I got to be wondering, well, where am I going to start taking everything out? So we're going to have to do some charting here and figure out where the nearest support level is going to be. And we haven't been down here in quite some time, not since earlier this month. And the thing is, that early month dip, that double bottom at 179.50, essentially 180, that's the only thing that I have to gauge, right? I don't have any other level, even before that, really, that holds up around here. So I could end up using pivots. Support level 2 on pivots is a little bit below 182, but I really doubt we see 182 on Apple today. In any event, this half an hour chart showing a hammer candle coming here on Apple. So the move may be had, and if that's the case, then we'll de-risk as it comes up a little bit. But yeah, the trade on Apple sound for now. Let's see what else we can squeeze out of this bad boy. The other one that I traded, the small cap gapper world that we've been in lately, DTSS. Call me crazy, but this one started making higher highs and higher lows. I said, okay, this is interesting. Let's get in here through the break of 16. We wet our beak through the break of 17, so we were able to extract a bit of $1 on that. But then it came right back down to my entry. I said, sayonara, got out of that one. It's still incrementally, though, Adara, making higher lows and higher, not necessarily higher highs in the sense that it broke through that 20, but this little micro trend that's putting it in over here. This could be an interesting entry into DTSS. But again, like Adara said on Small Cap Recap today, really be careful with this. Short float, awfully dangerous. And as you saw, can move like lightning in a matter of seconds. So I'm going to be looking for a more advantageous entry point, but I do like the higher low, higher high pattern that it's putting in at the moment. Adair, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, and congrats on those trades. I think TSS, yeah, like I did say that on the small cap because I was like caution, 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 big yellow sign, red tape or yellow tape, whatever have you. But yeah, I think I see what you mean. It looks kind of like it's like snaking back up here for DTSS, although I am not a small cap person by any means. But best of luck there to DTSS, and congrats on those trades. I did get myself into the cybercar. We finagled our way in. I like this double bottom, but I did not punch in hastily here. I didn't get bottom wick here. I noticed we got to 184, a little bit below 184, and we bounced off really nicely. I like this double bottom area. If we have a decisive break below 184, I'm outie, so that gives me about 30 pennies. My goals for profit taking are this 185.27 area, and I say that because that was where we popped up earlier and where we had we were dancing around open. Then when we get into this consolidation area around 185.65, 185.70, I'm going to be interested again. I will reload or add a little bit here if we get down back into that 184 and hold it. Right now, though, I'm comfy with the position I have. I have enough to spread some little profit takers along the way. Also, there's a super chat for you from Kyle Burdett.
All right, so usually I'm gonna smash the bang and stuff when Big Kyle Burdett sends a super chat. I'm not gonna do that this time because it's more of a somber moment. I'm gonna read it out loud. I'm more sympathetic. I could not be Kyle. Being a dog owner myself, I got two little Frenchies. He goes on to say, Sharif, no amount of dumping can cure my broken heart today. Taking my main man of 14 years for his last ride. In your best doggy voice, can you give me a good boy hanky? Thank you, Big Kyle. Man, good boy hanky. I can't even do it with, in that way. It's his dog. His dog passed away, man. Yeah, so really sorry for you, Kyle, man. Good friend of the show's, and I'm sending all my sympathies your way, and more sympathetic I could not be as a dog owner myself. I know the pain. I put way too many dogs down, Kyle. So it's terrible. I hate the fact that they live much less than us, and that's just the nature of the beast. Yeah, I'm sorry for you, Kyle, but I'm sure you're tough, and you're going to be able to hang in there, and I'm sure another companion, when you're ready, is obviously going to come into your life sometime. So shout out to you, Big Kyle. All right, man. Let's get into the lesson, Derek, because we're already behind. I didn't do the topics, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have those topics ready for you in a second. But you'll notice today that we're using these PowerPoint presentations. There is an awful lot amount of detail. So yesterday I was kind of reading off the cuff. Now I'll be reading off the cuff, but you'll know exactly what I'm talking about because the headline is there for you to see. So as the first slide indicates, today we are continuing our discussion on accumulation and distribution with a specific focus on technical indicators for confirmation. So we were looking at chart patterns, candlestick patterns. Yesterday we looked at news events and catalysts of all different types. Today, we're going to look at how technical indicators can alert us or confirm or deny the presence of accumulation and distribution. Let's start it, baby. All right, so let me just get my notes up on the side here. So as you know, accumulation and distribution patterns can be very powerful trading signals, but relying solely on them can be quite risky, so never do that. Enter technical indicators. These tools analyze price, volume, momentum to provide you with additional confirmation, helping you make informed trading decisions. Let's explore them, baby. So the first one we're going to talk about is volume-based indicators. And like you probably could guess, these look at volume. When it comes to confirming accumulation and distribution, can you believe it, Neil? Volume indicators talk about volume. I don't know. It's nuts. When it comes to confirming accumulation and distribution patterns, volume-based indicators hold a unique power. They go beyond price action. They delve into the buying and selling pressure underlying the actual market movements. Let's explore some of these key points. So, understanding the logic of it all. Traditional indicators primarily analyze price movement, but that's not what we're looking at. We want to see volume-based stuff. Volume-based indicators, they consider the amount of shares being traded alongside price changes. They provide valuable insights into the intensity, underline that, into the intensity behind price movements. They help you discern where accumulation is taking place and where distribution is taking place. Some of their benefits, obviously, is they provide, and so you'll be able to see I'm on this topic A here, early accumulation detection. That's what we want to know. We always want to know the first signs of accumulation so we can be first to the party and profit the most. High volume during price rises can signal strong buying pressure, potentially indicating accumulation before a significant uptrend. Conversely, distribution confirmation, where was I? Early accumulation, yeah. Oh, I skipped a little bit, sorry. Did I? No, I'm right. Yeah. Distribution confirmation, this basically looks at decreasing volume on prices as price declines, and they can confirm selling pressure, suggesting possible distribution and a weakening of the uptrend or the potential downtrend. But you also have to be able to filter between false signals. And so you have to combine volume analysis with price patterns, which can help filter out some of the signals generated by price action alone. Questions or comments, Adair?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing too that Frank Jones in the chat just put here that I think is really apt, and thank you for commenting this. Think of a stock as a store. How long is that store going to last with fewer people entering and paying higher prices, or vice versa? The answer is it's not. Pay attention to volume, and I think that's a really, really key point.
Well
I think what's interesting too is like to kind of what he said that I think is really key there is it's the same idea as like if you have interest in a stock, you can really tell if that interest is going to be sustained with how many people are actually still here. Did people leave? And then if you're in something and something changes drastically with the viciousness on strong volume, that's when you pay attention.
Bang.
That's when you need to run for the hills if you're in the opposite direction. But yeah, it's I think it's a really key element of all of trading, but it's interesting too how it plays a role in accumulation and distribution, especially because accumulation and distribution, like volume, are these parts of the market we don't really pay that much attention to always, but it's always omnipresent.
Yes, I agree. Thank you for that. Let's talk about some popular volume-based indicators. And so sadly, I didn't set up most of these. I set up on balance volume, but we'll get to that in a second. I want to show you live examples using my charts. But the most popular of the bunch here, volume-based indicators, on balance volume, or OBV for short, OB. analyzes price volume based on the closing price movement. Rising OBV with rising prices suggests accumulation, while a falling OBV with falling prices suggests distribution. I want to show you an example here of on balance volume. Here it is. Let's go on AAPL, since we're trading that at the moment. So here we go. We're seeing distribution, obviously, here on Apple. There can be no question about that today because it's been a big sell-off, and you have, obviously, a dip in OBV along with prices. But let's have a look at the daily chart on this bad boy. As you can see here, we've been obviously putting in lower highs on the on-balance volume. Again, you can do the same thing with OBV that you do with RSI. Look for price OBV divergence. So where the price is making higher highs, but you're not necessarily seeing higher highs on the actual on-balance volume. That's the gold line here at the bottom. That's OBV. Right here, you're seeing them coincide. You're seeing price reductions with lower highs on the on-balance volume. But look for divergence here. It could signal an end to the trade. So the same thing that we do for RSI price action divergence, we can do for on-balance volume. The other very interesting volume indicator is accumulation and distribution index, or ADI for short. This is similar to OBV, but uses a different calculation. Rising ADI in uptrends and a falling ADI in downtrends indicates potential and accumulation and distribution respectively. So rising, obviously accumulation, falling is distribution. So keep your eye or learn how to use the ADI, the accumulation and distribution index. And the last one here for volume-based indicators is the Chaikin money flow, or the money flow index. This considers volume, price changes, and moving averages. So it uses all three to gauge buying and selling pressure. Positive CMF, we can call this CMF for short, the Chaikin money flow. Chaikin money flow. Positive CMF values imply accumulation, while negative values apply or infer distribution. Questions or comments, Adair?
Yeah, no, I think so. Basically, for the accumulation distribution index, just to clarify, so could that also show you divergence then, if we're like moving up on the, like where the chart is moving up, sorry, but the ADI is actually moving down, so that could show you maybe that buyer or sellers are coming in?
Well, I haven't been able to pull it up, but once we pull it up, I'll definitely have a look. We'll be able to do that second time around so that I can have my topics and my and my indicators ready. I
no worries. Chart's
slipped
got
my
a chart.
mind. Yeah, chart's got a chart, baby. All right, moving on, utilizing volume effectively. So we're on this topic over number 4 here, as you can see. So compare volume to its historical averages. I've been saying this a lot. Higher than average volume alongside rising prices strengthens the case for accumulation. And so you're gonna say, well, how should I know where to compare? So compare it to similar events. If you're coming out of earnings, look at the volume this time around on earnings, and then look at the previous earnings. And if you even want to be more specific, look at the same quarter last year when they released earnings and compare the volume. So try to make like-for-like comparisons using volume. Also, analyze volume changes across different price levels, what price is engaging more market participation. So increased volume at support might indicate buying interest, which is accumulation, obviously, while higher volume at resistance could indicate selling pressure, which is distribution. And don't rely solely on volume, despite the fact that it's super important. Don't rely solely on it. Combine it with price action, combine it with other indicators and market context, like we talked about yesterday, for a more holistic understanding. Questions or comments, Adara?
Yeah, and I think too, like part of even what we're even calling it is this today is basically using indicators for confirmation, right? So don't use these as your be-all, end-all. Use these, you have an idea, you want to make sure this idea is valid. What's the volume doing? It should be one little piece of the puzzle.
Bang.
One, same with all the indicators. It can just be part of what helps you, as Sharif always says, the balance of the evidence.
Absolutely.
Don't use one indicator, don't count all your chickens before they hatch, but definitely a lot of these indicators can be used in tandem, or you can use them in addition to other elements to kind of spice up your trading life a little bit. Shout out to the Spice Girls.
And yet, do you know yesterday that eggs was like one of the highest pieces of inflation? I was looking at that CPI report that we got from the Department of Labor yesterday. Brenda and I were looking at it at the big desk yesterday. The biggest drop was used cars, which is cool. That's not bad. One of the highest prints was eggs. It broke my heart. Right?
Poor Sharif there with the eggs.
They're coming after me.
They're
gunning
we're
for
gonna
me,
make
Adara.
Sharif's life hard today with this print.
All right, some advanced tips for you guys, all right? Explore the volume ratio, very important. Explore volume ratio indicators that compare volume to price changes for detailed insight. You're gonna have to do your homework on that one, but there's a little tip for you to look into. Here's another tip. Utilize the volume profile. We don't have it on P-Pro 8, and I don't have it on my platform, but it is available on TradingView. Utilizing volume profile analysis to visualize volume distribution at different price levels, identifying potential support and resistance zones. I know a lot of traders back here, a lot of them use volume profile. It's very popular in day trading. And remember, back test your strategies and refine your interpretations based on historical data and market behavior. Shout out to Trade Ideas, the NOS boss and his crew. They'll allow you to do 3 months of back testing. What's up, Katina, man? Come in.
I just want to get a check on ARM.
Oh, yeah, right here, my man. 122.57.
We're short of 130s.
So only an $8 winner today?
We're going for a walk. This needs to be bigger. This needs to be bigger, Sharif.
Thank God I've got my earpiece here. Otherwise, I would have been toked. Shout out to the Katina man, my friend. He's going to go for his daily walk. So we're pleased as punch that he's getting in, that good, healthy lifestyle, baby. Questions or comments, Adara, on anything?
Yeah, no, I think, again, like just kind of this whole idea that it really is just part of a healthy diet. As you know, we were saying eggs, so are these indicators. You can use them in addition, to use a metaphor to tie back to what we were just saying about the walks. I honestly do think it's really just each of them on their own can provide something, but what can they provide for you as a picture? And also, Nicole Harris bringing up the point that I think was a joke, but also I think is pretty cool there too. Does this apply to meme stocks, right? So I think it shows the example, maybe it could, right? Like those definitely have outsized volume, but I think it's the example that every approach is gonna be different depending on what you're trading. There are certain approaches, everyone has a different approach to trading, so it's really how can you implement these and to what extent can you implement them to help your style, if at all, right? So I just thought, as much as that was probably a joke, I enjoyed it, and I also do think it's some food for thought there.
I think there actually might be like uses for them, especially coming into support and resistance when you hit that wall of sellers at a particular level. I think it might actually have some application. I don't know if you'd use it the exact same way, so you may have to find a more nuanced way for the memes. But yeah, I think that everything here is usable on any time frame for any stock. Just you might have to make those adjustments.
Yeah, no, I just really enjoyed that comment, and so
Yeah.
I thought that was something I kind of wanted to bring up with regards to like different ways of looking at different applications, because I think that could be very valid for sure.
All right, guys, let's move on to momentum indicators. So we just finished talking about volume indicators. Now we're going to be talking about the momentum indicators. So momentum indicators are your allies in gauging the strength and the direction of price movements, playing a crucial role in confirming accumulation and distribution patterns. Let's dive into the specifics. So the first thing is understanding the concept. So momentum indicators don't predict future prices, but rather they measure the speed and intensity. So momentum indicators measure the speed and the intensity of the current price changes. So that's what we need to know about them. The rising momentum suggests increasing buying pressure, which is obviously potential accumulation, while falling momentum might indicate fading the buying or rising selling pressure, which is obviously, you guessed it, distribution. They also help identify the overbought or the oversold conditions that often precede trend reversals. Remember, we use RSI and price action divergence to figure out where the uptrend is going to end. Conversely to the downtrend as well, works both ways. This could potentially signal the end of the accumulation or distribution phase. All right, so let's look at some of them. Some of the more popular momentum indicators are, you guessed it, baby, RSI, one of the most popular ones, but one of the most used incorrectly, by the way. All right, so the RSI obviously oscillates between a 0 and 100, with readings above 70 implying overbought conditions and readings below 30 implying oversold. Here's what you're looking for. So divergence. When price makes new highs, but the RSI fails to follow, it might suggest weakening momentum and potential distribution. I can't stress this enough. Look for continually higher highs on the price action, but make sure that the RSI is also making higher highs. If it's not, they are diverging, and that could be a signal for impending distribution. And also look for confirmation with RSI. So RSI is dipping below 70 near support in an uptrend could be a confirming buying opportunity, which is accumulation. So that's RSI. And again, we'll look at more of these second time around. The stochastic oscillator, another really important momentum indicator. It's similar to RSI, but with slightly different calculations, not important for our purposes at the moment. It interprets its readings similarly to RSI for confirmation. So what you're doing again here is you're looking for price action, stochastic divergence, okay? And then the last but not least is the moving average convergence divergence, or MACD for short. So comparing two moving averages is what we're doing here, and their differences to identify trend direction and strength. So here's what you're looking for with MACD. You're looking for crossovers. So the MACD crossing above its signal line in an uptrend confirms potential accumulation, while crossing below its signal line in a downtrend suggests distribution. And you're also looking for divergence with moving average convergence divergence. So you're looking for crossovers. The second thing you're looking for is divergence. When price makes new highs, but MACD diverges and fails to follow the price, it might be signaling weakening momentum and a possible trend reversal. Questions or comments, Adair?
Yeah, I think too, like, it can be used to help show you if you're in a trade, is this still going to be valid? Or if you want to enter, hey, do I still have legs to stand on here? But also, if you're going to be like more of a mean reversion trader,
right,
then this could also be really helpful for you, because it can actually show you ahead of time. Because, you know, mean reversion, honestly, it can be really hard to predict, you know, even with patterns. And this, especially if you're going to use something like this in tandem with like a double top or a double bottom, right? If you have a mean reversion idea, or an idea where you think we have some possibility of reversal, but I'm not really sure, then those could be really helpful indicators to use. Also, I just want to add too, because I thought this was kind of interesting. I was taking some notes yesterday, and one of the articles I found made this really interesting comparison and said there's different indicators you can use together. And they actually said that compared money flow index to the RSI because they both measure 0 to 100, which is pretty interesting.
Oh.
And they provide ranges. They can highlight more extreme conditions. So like, for example, if we're going to be like 0 to 20,
right.
they're going to be really oversold, or 80 to 100 are going to be really overbought. So they said basically to compare it to more of the traditional AD line, you're going to get a little bit more range, quite literally, with the RSI and MFI. So I just thought that was an
Very
interesting comparison
interesting
from that article, and I wanted to pepper
Thank
that
you
in there.
for adding that. Yeah, great context there, Adair. Appreciate that. I just got into DTSS here, so small size, but I'm just gonna send it to you for a second because I have to put my stops. But I'm seeing higher lows here, so I'm looking to take advantage of the move up. I'm also keeping a close eye on that Apple trade. If Apple continues to come up near my entry, I'm gonna end this one. But right now, my focus is gonna be on DTSS. Sorry, just send it to you for a second.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. K Debs, happy Valentine's Day to you as well. I'm wearing, the pink for Valentine's Day. Someone earlier was saying I'm looking like the CEO of Theranos. So no shout out to Elizabeth Holmes. I guess the black turtleneck.
Yeah. Oh,
but I said no.
You're a
shout
much
out to
nicer
her.
person, much
Thank you
more
very
honest.
much. And my voice is not. It's my actual voice. So I'll put that.
Hold on.
Too.
Tell them the story about her voice.
Oh, yeah, okay. So Elizabeth Holmes, and there's actually a part of this in the Amanda Seyfried version of this story as well. So her voice was like not actually as low as she would make it be, but she talked like this when she was in CEO mode. So I just thought that was kind of
Why did she do that? I would not have taken her more seriously if she had a deeper voice. Well, it's how intelligent you are, not how your voice sounds.
Well, she idolized Steve Jobs, and I don't know if that was part of it as well, but I know the turtlenecks, that was kind of what the inspiration was there.
I respect all that. I don't necessarily agree with it. I mean, what is piercing to me about someone is not their voice, not, it's their intelligence, right? Right away, you can tell.
Bang.
Bang. Hey, all right, we're banging on this trade, baby. All right, let's go DTSS. All right, so we're printing on this one so far, almost $1 in the money as this one rides up. Next profit taker, and there it is, Adara, up we go on DTSS. Pleased as dang punch. We're gonna take out a little bit more here to de-risk, and I need to see how many shares I have left. All right, so we probably need to de-risk a little bit more around here. So we're gonna go like that, and then there we go. So now we have an appropriate amount of shares that we can trade with. Got to put a next beak wetter here, Adara. We're gonna put it at 16 1/4. We'll leave that bad boy up there. We'll see if we get filled. But pleased as punch about this trade on DTSS. The break of, I had my stop here below 14. I think now that I've wet my beak through 16, I don't know if this is an appropriate area for that level. This is the area I was looking for, that I was gunning for over here. I wanted to touch that 17 top because obviously that was a key level of resistance. What got me into this, Adara, and I think a lot of people are wondering as well, because they're like, yo, this is nuts. Why are you in this trade? Is the higher lows, continuously higher low, and another higher low over here. And obviously it's up over, well, was over 1,000% at its highs, now 965. So we'll see what we get with this bad boy. I'm just thinking, can I really teach and trade this thing at the same time over here? So I'm thinking maybe I should flatten out the position because I don't think I can teach and, yeah, I'm gonna get out of this. And be able to monitor this, to be honest with you. It's just too crazy, man. All right, let's move on. Back into the lesson here. So we just finished talking about the popular momentum indicators. Now we're gonna talk about using momentum wisely. All right, so don't rely too much on overbought or oversold zones for your entry and your exit. Use them as a warning sign and combine them with other momentum confirmatory signals, okay? Other confirmatory signals, not just momentum confirmatory signals. So what I'm trying to say is don't rely too heavily on them and consider trend context, okay? Momentum works best in a trending market. In range-bound markets, interpretation can be absolutely trickier. And we've been talking about that. We've been talking about identifying the market that you're in because the indicators that you use and the lens that you view the market from should be different in trending markets versus consolidative markets. You don't use them the same way. Like, for example, we talked about moving average, which can absolutely bamboozle you during consolidative markets. So understand market context. And last but not least, keep your eye out for false divergence signals. So be cautious and look at the confirmation from other indicators and price action before acting on divergence. the perfect example I'm talking about is price action RSI divergence, right? Just because the RSI is making lower highs and the price action is making higher highs, that's one indicator that you could be reaching distribution. But that's not the only thing we have to consider. You have to look at the gauntlet. It's on the balance of the evidence. Questions or comments, Adair?
You know, one thing I want to say too, because I totally agree with what was being said there, sometimes too, if there is even overbought or oversold conditions, that does not mean it'll kick in right away or that the market will immediately react by selling. You were telling me that stat about how usually if the market makes a new all-time high, it'll make another new all-time high, right? NVIDIA is a key example here. I was reading something from, I believe, Bespoke on Twitter a while ago, and or maybe Bar Chart, but anyways, one of those channels on Twitter that shows you charts, and they were saying that, showing that NVIDIA has been this was a while ago, but overbought for X period of time, and yet NVIDIA did not care. Jensen Huang and his NVIDIA team, they kept marching to the high side, right? So I think really, as you said, I think context is a really key word. Because if the market's strong, this stock is strong, just because we have an overbought rating does not mean immediately we have to go back. The market doesn't always work like that. They're helpful tools, but they're not rules. Oh, that rhymed.
Yeah, it did. It wasn't a pun, but it was a rhyme. That's new for you.
Yeah, it was unintentional.
All right, here's some advanced tips as well for using momentum indicators. Check these out. So explore the CCI, Commodity Channel Index. Really important. I have it on my indicators on my side chart. We'll talk about that in a second. But use CCI, the Commodity Channel Index, for its versatility in identifying both trending and ranging markets. So that's one way to be able to earmark that. And also utilize the rate of change, or ROC, for its sensitivity to recent price movements, aiding in identifying short-term accumulation and distribution bursts. And remember, I'm going to say this a lot, backtest, and more backtest your strategies and refine your interpretations based on historical data and market behavior. Okay, so let's delve a little bit deeper here into trend confirmation. How do we actually confirm the existence of a trend, or what direction is going, or its strength, after analyzing everything else? So when navigating accumulation and distribution patterns, identifying the underlying trend is absolutely crucial. By confirming the trend itself, you gain valuable context for interpreting these patterns and making informed trading decisions. Let's explore some key points. So the first one, obviously, is the importance of trend confirmation. What can we do here? While distribution obviously happens near resistance levels in uptrends or at the start of a downtrend. So if you're reaching a resistance level on an uptrend, you could see distribution there even though we're in an uptrend. Or obviously the start of a downtrend, the breaking of a key support level. Okay? Confirming the trend helps you distinguish genuine accumulation and distribution from just regular short-term fluctuations within a larger trend. So that is the importance there. Now, some popular trend confirmation techniques, you could use moving averages, right? So we've been looking at, the 50 crossing the 200, the golden cross to the upside, or the death cross, the 50 crossing down below the 200. And accumulation is likely to also take place when the price is above that key moving average, whether the 50 or the 200, whatever you're using. So the likelihood of accumulation taking place when a stock or an equity is above the 50 period or 200 period is much more likely than it's when below those points. Okay, so use those two things, crossovers and where the price is, so you can gauge whether accumulation or distribution is more likely to take shape. And there's also trend lines. Draw trend lines connecting the swing high and lows to visualize trend direction. Accumulation might occur near support, like in an uptrend, while distribution could happen near resistance, obviously in a downtrend. And then look for trend line breaks as well. A decisive break above a resistance level often signals the end of a distribution and the start of a new potential uptrend, which is a buying opportunity. And use obviously technical indicators like we talked about earlier to help gauge that. Questions or comments there, Darren?
Yeah, I think one thing too is another thing I find to use. Of course, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but I like to look at the book as well. So let's see, I have a key area that I like. I really want to see, can we hold it on the book? Can we fold it? What's going to happen? Actually, a really good example is I've been eyeing Meta around this area here. So I'm going to actually pull this up to show you an example because I've been looking at this longingly, Meta in this kind of just below VWAP area, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be interested. I pulled out my bid because we were a little too indecisive here, but basically what I'm going to be watching is I'm going to see, hey, can we test this area a couple times? Can we hold it? If we hold it, then I'll go long, or if we're having a harder time holding it, maybe I'll go short. But it's not just the book, right? I'm using this because I already have a thesis in mind, because we're seeing accumulation or distribution that I like. We're getting to a key level. In this case, we're hovering right below VWAP, right? So it's really about, this is just a different technique, and this is just my personal technique. Everyone's going to have their own style.
Absolutely.
But this is just kind of some food for thought there. And I also used it for this Tesla trade that I got into, right? Because we got to this double bottom, and I watched us hit that 184. And I think this also goes back to what Neil was saying yesterday.
Right.
You don't always have to be the first one to a party. Sometimes you can be a little bit late and be fashionably dressed, right? As Neil says, and Sharif is always quoting Neil on this, get it on the back end. So with that aggressive pointing there too. But yeah, right, I think that's really key advice, and that's why sometimes you have to wait for a level to hit a couple times before getting involved, and that's just some thoughts on confirmation for me.
Okay, I need to talk about this Apple trade here. So clearly what we're seeing here, this is what I see on Apple, guys. We obviously had this bottom for whatever reason here at this 183.5. That was initially, that's the level we were using as support, 183.5. Now we're working our way back up into that previous support level. Now I'm looking for that previous support level to act as a level of resistance. So I added to my position here. And I just finished telling Adara before we went on the show how much of a bad trader I was, and the fact that I don't add into positions where I see key levels of resistance. I'm doing it now, okay? So I'm looking for previous area of support to act as resistance. That's why my price changed from 183.76 to 183.65, because I added a little bit over here. Now, my out is going to be a decisive break of this key resistance, previously support level. So if we continue to pump into the 60s and the 70s, that's it. That's going to be the end of my trade there. And we'll take a little bit of, we'll give some money back here on Apple, because we're well in the money on it right now. But what I'm looking is, it's kind of like a boxer who has his opponent hurt, and you got him on the ropes, you got him in the corner, you don't want to let him out, right? You got Apple bleeding today. You don't want to let up, right? And that's kind of what the thinking here of what I'm looking at. So I'm looking to basically squeeze everything out of Apple. If it ends up squeezing some profits back for me, so be it. At least I followed my rule, which is to add into this position here. So very profitable trade here on AAPL so far, but looking for this previous area of support to act as resistance, and that's obviously in the face of a micro uptrend, right? So we're looking at this 182.80 bottom, obviously putting in higher highs and higher lows. So you are adding against the trend, but it's a micro trend. It's not the overall trend. Obviously, the overall trend is down. We're down 0.82. So that's my thinking there, baby. That's what my thinking is there. Zion Lala, Sharif, Adara, can you check with your text? Seems like the volume sound dropped from the main mixer. Everything okay, guys? They're already. Yeah,
I was gonna say it is in the chat too. Oh, sorry.
Ram is really disappointed that that was said, because she's like, yo, I already said that in the chat, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how many times do I have to say that? No, she didn't say that. I'm just kidding, of course. Yeah, but they did fix that. Thank you for pointing that out, Zion Lala. All right, Kevin Mendoza, pump it up. What do you got over there, Adara?
Yeah, no, I am, I'm watching NVIDIA, not too longingly. I'm just kind of like side-eyeing it a little bit. I think this is key also, because I was considering a short in NVIDIA only because this short off the 90 EMA has not been bad, at least earlier today. But then this is also what I say, like, patience. I had to watch this. We failed this a couple times, and then we did not fail it Obi thrice. Shout out to Obi. And so I was like, we can't short it. Now it looks like, again, we're struggling a little bit here.
Right.
But I don't have as key a level there, so I'm going to have to be patient. Wait, you want confirmation. You want multiple things telling you make a move or don't make a move, right? So I think that's pretty exciting too. Also, a couple of super chats here. There's one from earlier, I just saw it out from Diamond Realty of Miami, $3.05. Consistency is key here. Thank you very much for that $3.05 super chat. Show some heart for the best show. Hashtag Kiki, do you love me? I had to sing it. Hashtag 305. Thank you. So shout out to you, and thank you so much for your 305 super chat.
Diamond.
Guilty Gunner just hitting us up with another super chat here as well. Thank you very much. $1.99 super chat. PXLW News going to be a $10 stock soon. Cowboy hat. Let's look at, is this Pixelworks? I think this is Pixelworks.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, nice, yeah.
Not financial advice, obviously.
Yeah, not financial advice. I was trying to remember if it was Pixelworks because I know.
It is, yeah.
Okay, nice, yeah. My small cap memory is weirdly not bad for tickers. But yeah, so, ooh, okay. Nice uptrend. Not advice, just my reading of the chart. Yeah, okay. My thing here is that we definitely have been in an uptrend as of late. I think $10 seems to me like, you know, kind of maybe more of an arbitrary number. You know what I mean? I'm not really sure about that. However, we do seem to have been trying to break out of that downtrend, seeing some nice little consolidation bottoms here at this $1 area, $1, 1 cent chop and churn. Then we make a nice move up, clear support at 140, which could be an area later. We kind of a little bit lower here at one. We got below, but I think basically here, if we do fall back down, to be watching that 140 area. But really, we have now eclipsed 1, 2, 3 previous highs. So nice look. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought this was a Disney deal as well, Guilty Gutter. So thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, so in terms of my opinion, I think, like I said, I don't know about $10, just because, like, you know, I'm not really. Just my take on the chart, it would probably take us a little bit of a time. But that being said, I think as long as we continue making higher highs, higher lows, I think it's a nice look, for sure. And I think we're definitely broke out of that downtrend. But yeah, I mean, that's just my reading of the chart. And I think if we go in the way down, I would absolutely be watching at 140 because this held like a glove.
Adara,
it was also the top end of our range.
I want to talk about, sorry to interrupt you, but I have to talk about Palantir. Palantir is almost 6% to the good. It just broke through, well, not just, but it did break through 25, 5 3/4. People talking about this. I want to know what's going on. So today, the company announced that it has received multiple awards after the company's decision intelligence platform was evaluated by the Dresner Advisory Service 2023 Technology Innovation Awards. Whatever. Apparently, that's got this one pumping anyway. It's up big on the day. I don't see anything else to justify this reason. So if you want to go have a look at what this article is, it's on Benzinga. Shout out to Benzinga, one of the show's sponsors. And down goes Apple. Got this right. Let's put a beak wetter in the high 20s over here. We'll see if we get filled there as it makes its way down into that 183 1/3 again. Again, reshorting this under the premise that previous area of support gonna act as resistance. So far, so good. Printing on this name. Well, how many shares do I have left? Okay. Printing on this name so far. Let's sit in the low 20s now. See what we can get there, Adair.
Yeah, Places punch for you on that.
Thank you.
What a look there on Apple. Certainly not Snow White with the poison apple today. We're taking that poison apple and we're killing it. That was a really weird analogy, but congrats to you on this trade. I am considering punching in, speaking of being pleased as punch here, on this IWM short. My thesis, if I may. I don't want to say head and shoulders, but, you know, kind of, as I said yesterday, a little linebackery. We have 2 peaks, we have a higher peak. My area of out would be absolutely if we break above that 197.60 area, 197.80, basically either of these peaks I'm going to be taking note. I would actually be interested in getting out in right as we are now because look where we had that little earlier pop. You know what, we're actually going to punch into this here because I do like this
baby,
look.
Punch.
Yeah, let's punch and Judy. Heck yes. I like this look. We're going to be taking this out, or I'm going to at least be looking to take it out kind of around where we had this nice chop and turn pre-market. And man, am I sad I wasn't involved in this pre-market range in IWM because this was clean.
That's your stock right there.
Well, yeah, it's my stock.
It's like the new Lily.
It's the new Lily because Lily doesn't have the volatility.
Yeah.
Someone earlier was saying, because someone earlier was talking about Eli Lilly in the chat. So let me look at Lily because I have not looked. Oh, she's above $1 million in volume.
Oh,
Man,
okay.
When I turn my back on her, she starts doing regular $1 million volume.
Okay.
She's betraying me. No, I'm joking. But this is kind of an interesting look. We had this retracement. Look at that topping tail candle. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, good call.
1025, then we swoop to the downside. Trying to make a little bit of a recovery. Cannot even get to view up. Heading back down here. I don't really have like a range or levels on this, so I'm not going to get involved. But congrats to anybody who is involved in Mademoiselle Lily. And Lily, I'm sorry I did you wrong. I've been ignoring you a little bit. But if you keep doing a milli volume,
I'm sure she'd understand.
I might put you back on my radar. Yeah,
she'd understand.
She'll get over it. But yeah, the IWM short, my main thing. Looking for other things to get involved in. NVIDIA kind of popping back down here. Tesla popping back down. Don't want to rush anything, but the market has been in a tizzy, and I'd like to take it, to get involved as much as I can.
Yeah, why not, right? We didn't look at any small cap gappers, save and except for this DTSS trade. Couple of trades on this bad boy earlier. We got long through the break of 16, wet our beak up into the break of 17, then got reignited in this one through the break of 15, wet our beak into 16. So profitable on DTSS so far, but it is quite the bamboozler. But look at that uptrend, right? Now we're kind of getting that compression pattern, right? The lower highs and the higher lows kind of looking pennant-esque. And we all know what the pennant is, the bull pennant. It is a continuation pattern. So if the pattern that preceded or the trend that preceded the formation of the pennant was up, there's a much greater likelihood of us breaking up through the uptrend line than we do through the downtrend line, right? And so let's just put a description to that, Ram. So that's the downtrend line right there. And here's the uptrend line. And so we're compressing. And so if you believe the TA books, the likelihood of us breaking down, much less likely given that the trend that preceded the formation of the pennant was up. So typically we will get a break up just when it happens. And if there are false breakouts before the real breakout, that's kind of what we don't know. And in these small cap gappers, the likelihood of false breakouts is like very high, right? So you're gonna have to pack your patience and manage your risk on this dang stock because it could be a widowmaker. We call nat gas a widowmaker. DTSS could equally be, a bad stock. Anyway, back to AAPL, keeping my eye on this one. Got the next profit taker here at 183.15. Initial entry on AAPL, 183.76. Took $1 down through the break of 183. Reignited the short at the key area of resistance, and we profited again on the way down. Looking for more though. I'm greedy. I don't know what to say. Whatever. Sharif sounds like he called a boxing match. Apple go down.
I saw that and I was like, I love that.
I don't care. Boxing is my third favorite sport. It's tied between soccer and football, and then it's boxing after that. So I'm good with that.
Which football do you like more, American or UK?
Yeah, let's not start a fight in the chat over here because we could end up bloodied. Between it's like going into a comic book store and asking who the best superhero is. You're going to start a rumble.
That is true. There's no way to do that without starting some kind of
you know what I mean?
As someone who spent some time in comic book stores in my youth.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
there.
that's...
Yeah. So everybody's going to have... soccer is football. Oh, look, I know. We're North American, though. Just humor us, okay? We call it soccer. I think the Australians call it soccer as well because they're called the Socceroos.
Are they?
The Australian soccer team, they're called the Socceroos.
Kangaroos.
Yeah. So I figured they call it soccer as well. So maybe it's not exclusively a North American thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I know also in the UK they have Sky, they have Soccer Saturday on Sky, and they call that soccer, and that's in the UK. Because alliteration.
They call it Soccer Saturday?
Yes, I also know that from Ted Lasso.
There's no way they do that.
Yeah, because I think they have, that's the thing on Ted Lasso. I guess the US fans were like, oh, your consistency's so bad because you called it Soccer Saturday. And the writers from the UK were like, no, we actually do call it Soccer Saturday for Sky
I didn't know that.
Because they like the alliteration.
Oh, not like I have IPTV and would have Sky Sports or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I only know for that. And anyone from the UK, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was what my understanding of that was there. So I thought that was kind of interesting here too. Huge reaction saying Stalkeroos. I like that.
Okay.
I really like that.
Lewis wants to know if I like cricket. I played cricket in high school, but like just informally with friends. It's I don't want to say it's like baseball because I don't want to start another rumble, but I mean, yeah, the way you hit the ball, completely different than the way you hit the ball in baseball. You have to keep like the bat flat on the ground, then you're hitting it like this. So different. Anyway, neither here nor there. Watching Apple as it heads back down Adara into the high teens. We're looking for a mid-teen print here after reloading, and there we go, baby, getting that mid-teen print. Could we get a decisive break of 183? It's been sequentially lower highs and lower lows. It came into that key resistance level, formerly support at 183.5, and we re-upped the short there. Please, a sponge. How's your walk, Katina, man? Good, nice decompressing walk? A little bit of shopping. Okay. In case Marissa Katina is watching, I can't say nothing. But the Katina man got chores done on the day, baby. Eh? It's not even close. No, you're still multiple dollar club winners on that one. Katina Man want to know if ARM was above 130, and I had the good sense to nip that in the butt right there. All right, Adara, we are down again here on Apple into the 183 single digits now. Please, Punch, what are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, congrats to you on that. I'm still in IWM. I added a little bit here. There's no reason for me to leave. Like I said, I'm really just going to be watching what we do with these peaks. I might de-risk part of it at 197.65 and then this 197.80, basically these other highs, but there's no reason for me to do that yet. Really just being cognizant, though, if we break above that level. Also, something else here, too.
What?
Andrew Ditter mentioning Mara. Can we visit the bullish Harami formation on Mara on the daily time frame 6-month chart? It shows an engulfing baby from yesterday, bullish and a gap up today. Typically, it continues. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could totally look at that. I'll look at the, so you said the daily on the 6 months. So I guess the daily, I'll look at the daily chart. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong there, too. I just want to make sure I'm looking at the correct chart here. Yeah, this is certainly, I think, oh wait, this is not Mara. I was really confused there. Okay, there we go. Apologies there. I did not press enter. Good times here. Oh, thank you so much. It was a super chat. No, I was scrolling up to see the other one. Thank you so much for the super chat, Andrew Ditter, on this. Can we view the bullish Harami on the daily, Amara showing on the daily chart? What do the tea leaves say? It appeared yesterday. Yeah, let me see here. Okay, bullish Harami. Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. We did have this little candle yesterday for sure. I think like my biggest thing is going to be here, this level, this 3160. I also, though, every time I read a crypto chart, I feel the need to include the caveat that I find because they move so in tandem with Bitcoin, I find it a little bit harder to read levels. You know what I mean? Like they do, of course, they have their own catalysts as well. Sometimes, mind you, especially with earnings and things like that. But I do find because they're so temperamental with regards to what Bitcoin does, I think it's something I'm usually a little bit cautious about calling. But I think, too, if I want to, like, you know, on a purely levels basis, I think this bounce twice off that 16 area, certainly something to note. Some consolidation, move back up, then we come back down, bounce, and then we bounce one more time here to the upside off the 16, 17 area. Certainly a move up, but I would be very cautious of that double top there. Yeah, I think my biggest thing, though, is just that I find it a little bit harder to read and interpret these kind of charts when we do have this this situation with regards to these Bitcoins, because they are a little bit more volatile with that regard. Same with Chinese EVs to a lesser extent. I know Sharif is more of the Chinese EV person than me, but I know Chinese EVs will sometimes move in tandem, or they'll move, you know, general Chinese ADR moves, or with news from the Chinese ADR space. Mara, much like that with Bitcoin as well. So yeah, my take is I think I would be cautious at 31. Andrew Ditter saying, thank you both for diving deeper into this. I'm at 21 and holding. Yeah, I mean, congrats to you. You got a heck of a move there up on Mara. This is certainly a look. And yeah, I would say look out for 31. But in terms of a chart pattern, ignoring the fact, you know, notwithstanding that Bitcoin is a bit more temperamental and Mara and all of these crypto names are also a bit more temperamental, I think it's a nice look. On the intraday, this is, again, not a stock I would get involved with because Bitcoin scares me just a skosh. I do like these lower highs, though. And if this holds up below VWAP, and by that I mean if we don't break above VWAP, I would go short. I'm not gonna lie.
Fair.
I'm gonna keep an eye on Mara. I like that. Fair. No, Mara just scares me a little bit here. But thank you so much to Andrew Ditter for that super chat, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to look over Mara. My big thing, as always, you know, Bitcoin may you know, slap her around a little bit, but I think Mara's a nice look.
Fair. Okay. We didn't have a look at any of the Mag 7 names to analyze them relative to one another or anything. We haven't looked at any small cap names either, so it's probably time to do that now. All right, let's bring in this bad boy over here, side chart. So I don't want to say we're marginally up on the NQ, but we are up 0.4%, 0.38 to be exact, but you wouldn't really know it looking at any of these daily or these 5-minute charts on any of these Mag 7 names. They're all, you know, down and to the right. You got NVIDIA below VWAP. You got Apple below VWAP, Amazon below VWAP, Meta, Microsoft, and you guessed it, Google. They're all below VWAP. So, you know, it feels like a red day. And that's because, well, we're well below that 18,000 and change that we were at yesterday. I mean, yesterday we really gave up a lot of the gains we made lately. So what I'm looking at right now is the similarities or lack thereof between some of them. And I see some similarities here between Tesla and Amazon. So Amazon will be bottom left and Tesla is this one over here to the right. They both have these skewed double bottoms where the first side of the W is lower than the right side, but Tesla looks a little bit more bullish, if I could say so, at this moment. It's dancing with 186. It's putting in a bit of a compression pattern, higher lows, but lower highs, but no trend that precedes it. It's a consolidation. So you don't know which way this is going to resolve, right? Because we just finished talking about how compression patterns typically resolved in the direction of the trend that preceded them. And then look at what we have here in the pre-market. We have bupkis. We have absolute sideways movement. So looks like we're coming into that top end of the consolidation range here in the pre, which is around 186.25. And this last top out here was around 186.11. So Tesla, interesting on the day. And you had a bit of a double bottom here at 185 too. I like that. All the dips into 185 were aggressively bought up. This is interesting here on TSLA. Now it's up 1% too. So Tesla is Tesla number one? No, Meta's number one at 1 3/4, and then Tesla's number two with 1%. Obviously Netflix, the beast, but we don't put that in the Mag 7. Netflix is up 2.8% on a day where, you know, we're not getting much. So Tesla looks really interesting here. It's just how I work my way into this trade. I don't want to be punching in Ram at that 186 level because, well, we're near highs here. I definitely need a pullback of sorts, maybe VWAP at 185.25. We'll keep a lookout here on Tesla, but I do like it possibly for a long on the day. Nothing else really here for me except to hold Apple short at this point. I'm definitely not looking long Apple. All right, small cap gappers, baby. Here's what I got up. I got 5 up today. ELWS, below VWAP, not tradable for me at the moment. DTSS, that's the one we had a 2 wins on. This one is above VWAP and definitely tradable in my book. BREA, it's up 97%, but it's been going down into the right since the open. Below VWAP, not tradable. And HOLO as well. It had its moment in the sun today, HOLO. Everybody was yelling about this one towards the end of the morning show there. It popped up a Dara from like that 28 bucks, went all the way to 32 almost, 31.71, then gave up the entire ghost, breaking through VWAP. So not tradable for me at this moment is HOLO. Had a monster day yesterday. And this one is the one that started the small cap craze that we're in right now. This one started going early last week. So HOLO is the OG of the small caps as of late. Now, the other one was CCG. This one really moved in the pre-market, got all the way up in 22 bucks and change, but didn't even come close to breaking through that level after the bell. And that's one of my other rules for small cappers. You got to be above VWAP and you got to break the pre-market high. Otherwise, I don't touch you. So those are the 5 small cap gappers that I'm looking at the day. And the only one in my book, my opinion, that's tradable at the moment is DTSS.
Yeah, I mean, you tell those small cappers, they are not being messed with if they are below VWAP or if they did not make a new pre-market high. And honestly, too, I was saying, too, I use that rule a lot as well. I find it to be really helpful when I'm looking through my small cap recap to see which ones I think could be tradable for people, because I don't want to bring something to people if it's kind of like, or it's kind of dying on the day, you know what I mean? So I think that's been really key, and I appreciate that perspective from a small cap trader, because I find it helps me to do that aspect of the big desk duties. Also, speaking of small caps, I want to talk about my little IWM short. In the past tense, because it was by WM, and I was very happy to be a part of that move to the downside. I got involved in this because I did see that skosh of a head and shoulder type sentiment forming, and again, I waited until we actually had that move down to confirm that we were going to kind of be heading more to the downside here. Now, in terms of levels, for someone earlier was saying too, like, levels aren't really going to be as important for ETF, something, or IWM because it's an ETF. And I mean, I understand that. I think it just kind of helps me with regards to planning my entries and exits, right? And so I think for me, that helped me. I tried to get out this first bit at this earlier top of the range because we had these giant top and tail candles at the top of this range at 197.25, 197.20ish. We got involved, punched out the first half.
Bang.
Then I was watching. I didn't really have as clear of an exit. I was more kind of scalpulating, piece for the dream, but I was definitely going to be out by 197. We had a little bit of trouble with that 197.15 area. Goodbye IWM, buy WM. And also, it sounds like you had some nice little beak waters there at Apple if those fist pumps are proving anything there.
It's a print factory here right now on Apple as we break down below 183. We're looking to take the low of the day, Adair, which is at right now 182.80. We're 182.90 at the moment, so we're awfully close into that low of day level. As I usually do, once we come into low of day, I'm on the lookout for possible double bottoms, but I'm not going to predict it. I'm just going to participate, not anticipate, so I'm not going to de-risk everything around this level. I want to see how we act at this level. Do we get bought up immediately? Like, was the reason that we bounced off 182.80 last time, was the reason because there's a buyer in and around that area that's going to look to reignite his buying once we get back there again? Or was it just an algo intraday trading noise that caused us? What's going on, Katina, man? ARM is tanking again. So ARM is coming back down. ARM is down 7 2/3% since the bell rung. It's still technically up 3% on the day. But since that bell rung, we're closing in on 8% down. So the Katina man continuing to print on that. Shout out to him. And keep your eye on the chat as the Katina man often puts his new positions in the chat there. All right, here we go into low day on Apple. We're going to wet our beak there at 82, Zadera. Let's see if we can break this level. Right now, technically, the low of day is 80. We're at 80 now. Can we break it? Apple 1 1/5% in the red, and there it goes. New low of day, baby, on Apple. Please this punch. But I really should be going into my account and putting dip trades on this because I haven't done that yet. They're in for Tesla. They're not in for Apple. How goes it on your side?
Yeah, I mean, not looking at anything else here except for our pal Stressless. Speaking, because you just mentioned Tesla here. This fall from this 185.85 was steep. It was swift. It was vicious. I didn't notice until I glanced over at my side chart and we'd already fallen below there. That's okay, but I'm going to be watching this 185.25 area. But for now, we're all going to be watching our pal Neil.
No, he just got up.
Though,
he just left.
Great.
Yeah, he's like,
but
no.
we'll see him soon, so that's okay. But yeah, Tesla continuing to fall here. What a drop. Whew.
A fake out
Bears
win,
versus
man.
Bulls saying SPY taking a hit. Yeah, I think certainly IWM taking a hit. AMD, everything on my side chart taking a hit. My biggest thing I'm eyeing though is this Meta. Meta does not want to survive here. If we pick up again around this 467, I shall be long and I shall range it. I shall range it to this area below VWAP, and then I shall take it short.
You tell that stock.
Thank you. I mean, like this to me, this is a range I can play. We've had enough tests of it, and I'm cool going in either direction with it. I know we're up on the day, but this VWAP failure to me is telling me a message. Pardon?
Do you see a head and shoulders there, or am I crazy?
I kind of see a head and shoulders, but that's why I want to see what we do with this range.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bumpy shoulder. It's like it's got like a little bit of a hunchback here on this.
Maybe he's got one shoulder bigger than the other. I mean, that's one thing I'm paranoid all about. You know, I want to make sure I'm pushing the same weight on both hands. I wouldn't be walking around with one shoulder bigger than the other. I'd be upset.
I have the same thing too, where it's like if you do like the first part, it's what I usually do is I'll do like one arm workout and then I'll do like something with both body and then I'll do the other arm. This morning I literally forgot what I did with the first arm and then was like, so I do remember because I was like, I want to do the wrong thing.
Were you still half asleep?
Yeah, I was still half asleep because and then I was like, I remembered so I could balance it out there. But for now, we're gonna stay balanced with another lesson from the real Neil with his real deal.
Execute a single trade if you can't answer the questions I'm about to pose to you. Every single trader has to understand that this is important pre-trade. What do you do? What should you not do? What do you need to know? The lesson of the day is going to be what is the most important part of your process when you're actually making a trade. So when you think about what is a trade, okay, a trade is essentially a bet that the market or whatever it is that you're going to execute on is going to go up or down. It's going to go from price X to price Y before it stops you out. But in order to get to that point, you've got to ask yourself a few questions, and you better have those answers before you actually get into the trade. This is really important because ultimately what this boils down to is how to limit your losses when you're wrong, how to make sure the market doesn't run you over, how to make sure that you do not revenge trade, how to ensure that you do not blow up your account. Because if you don't answer some simple questions before you get into a trade, you're going to be susceptible to all of those things. And a lot of experience in watching other traders throughout their journeys has taught me this time and time again. So what is a trade? A trade, we talked about if-then statements. It is, when it boils down to this, I need a reason to want to trade something. So whatever that might be, it could be a stock on earnings. It could be the futures because of an economic number. It could be Rivian because I happen to like Rivian and the EV names. I need a reason to like a certain direction. Maybe that's a trend. Maybe that's a piece of news. Maybe it's a price action off of a key price level. I then need a reason or method of executing into position. I need to see it bounce off of VWAP. I want to see buyers above a certain price. I want to see sellers below a certain price. I need to decide, and this is the most important part, what does it mean to be wrong on this trade? Is it a hard stop where it breaks a certain price level? Is it some kind of a moving average breaks and I get out? Is it if the futures, the NASDAQ breaks a certain level, I get out of this trade? Am I trading is it Bitcoin breaks a certain price and I get out of this trade? Is there a trend indicator I'm following that will cause me to get out of this trade? Is it something I'm looking on level 2 that will cause me to get out of this trade? If the answer to that is you don't have it until after you get in, you're in a world of hurt. Because you know what's going to happen to you. If you don't have an out before you get into a trade and it works, you're not going to have an out the next time. And then what's going to happen is when you are wrong, you're going to be wrong for a heck of a lot more than what you are making when you are right. So you've got to be able to answer that question. And then the last question that you should ask yourself is, okay, well, what are some reasonable targets? Like, where can this stock get to? And in practice, it should look something a little bit like this. So I'm going to come to Rivian because I happen to be, it just happens to be something I'm trading right now. And so whether or not you have a specific reason other than the stock is generally trending down on a daily chart or yesterday it was super red, so I'm looking for short entries. So like that's the first step. I'm looking for shorts because the stock was incredibly red. Okay, that's answer number one. The second question is, what is the thing that is going to make me execute into a short? So you can see right here, yesterday's close right around 1540 to 1550. It closed at 40s. In the aftermarket, you can see it crest out at 1550. That was also a key price level at the open. It failed 1550 at the open. So I want to base this off of 1550. So the way I look at it is, if weak under 1550, I want to short it. So I want to look shorts when there is weakness in sellers underneath 1550. So at the open, it bounces, it then breaks the level briefly before coming back up. So it's under 1550 here, but it immediately comes back under. Then it holds lower highs, breaking down. That's the weakness I'm looking for. Weakness under 1550, enter the trade. I want to make sure I know what's going to be my exit point. So initially, I'm simply getting out right here, really tight stop. I want to get out in front of that previous support level at 1555. Once it makes the same low instead of a lower low, I'm going to tighten up my stop. I'm like, okay, that's not making lower lows anymore. I'm refreshing it, but I'm going to tighten my stop up to where I got in that 50 breakdown. So that's an adjustment. Once that trade is done, I go right back to the same statement. What am I looking for? Weakness underneath 1550. Does it show me the weakness? Yes, it does. Enter back into that trade underneath 1550, stop to the local high, maybe go stop to VWAP. I have targets in mind because it's already shown me a range. Now, each time I'm setting a hard stop and I'm going to adhere to it when it breaks. And that's sort of one of the keys. If you don't have a reason to get out, then you're just going to look for reasons to hold it or add to it. It's easy. If you like a trade in a certain direction and it's generally going in that way, you can see all the reasons in the world to add to it if you don't have an out. Now, if I had an out that's higher and I wanted to be selling in this range up there, that's great. That can be part of your plan too. But if you want to have a tight stop, enter in front of it, get out if it does break. Because what you are trying to avoid, and I can't say this can't say this enough. What you are trying to avoid is a situation where the reason that you want to be in the trade is gone and you're still in it. You don't want that to happen to you. So I'll give you an example here of a trade that very clearly didn't work. It didn't work right away. And what happens if you don't have a plan of action? So Upstart, this is a stock that was down over 10%. I was looking for a bounce because it was short sell restricted. So what did I say my plan of action was? I wanted it to hold a higher low off an even dollar level breakdown. So what did it do? It flushes at the open. I'm looking for a turn. Okay, so there's a little bit of a bounce. Tries to take 27, fails 27. There is a wipeout bottom. It then holds a higher low right in here when I get the long. I jump into the long, looks strong. There's actually even a buyer at 27 the second time, so I add to it right at 27. But you know what? It never holds a higher low. So everything I was looking for in terms of an entry was there. I waited for the bounce. It made the wick bottom. The buyers emerged above the 27, the even dollar level. So that's what I was looking for. I pushed back into VWAP and then higher. But it rode my stop, and I got out. Now, here's the key thing. Why did I not get back into that trade? Because it didn't set it up again. The conditions I wanted, holding that even dollar level, making a higher low, buyers above that price, that didn't happen. So there's no getting back into the long off the low here because it didn't fit any of my requirements. Now, if I just like the long in Upstart on the dip buy, maybe I'm just buying it all the way down because I quote unquote like the long. But you've also got to have an execution plan. It's not enough to like a direction. It's not enough to think a stock or the market is a buy or a sell. You've got to have an execution plan that includes, why do I even want to be looking at this thing? Why do I even want to go a certain direction? What's the thing that's going to make me execute in? Buyer above a price, a breakout, bounce off support, higher low, technical indicator. I don't care. Any one of those things can be valid. What is wrong and what am I going to do when it happens? Is it a hard stop? Am I going to give it a couple of extra cents? Am I looking at an indicator? Is my out as well? All of those things, as long as you have yourself an out, and then you can start thinking about where you might take your profits. So if you can't answer those questions, then you shouldn't be getting into a trade. And I'll do you one more. When a trader is starting out, if you're a beginning trader and you're in your infancy of your trading journey, it's even more important, especially if you're in sim mode, to answer those questions honestly. Because a lot of people, when they get into sim, they're just, I'm just going to hit a bunch of keys. That's your chance to learn for free. So in that situation, you really want to make sure you're answering those questions before you get into trades. Practice like you are going to play. Put on tape of, you hear about it with all the greats. Put on tape of like a Kobe or whomever, anybody but Allen Iverson. When they're practicing, they're going to practice hard, as if it's a game situation. And in trading, you got to do the same thing. Every single trade should have those steps so that when you go to make a trade, you don't have to think about it. It's just part of your process. That's the real deal. Answer those questions before you make any trade, and that's going to save you a bunch of money and prevent you from blowing up your account.
Guys, we have Brenkles, the floor manager here at the trading floor again. We're going to talk a little bit about the openings that we have on the floor here.
Yes.
For traders. We touched up on a little bit last time, but we didn't give you guys any details about what you learned back here. You don't just come and take a computer and start punching away. There's a whole program. Take it through us, Brenkles.
Yeah, so like Sharif said, some people were asking for more details about the program. That's fine. That's why I'm here today. Essentially, the training program is 8 weeks, okay? So we split it up week by week, and each week we're talking about a new general theme or topic.
Amazing.
So I have my sheet right here, and we can kind of go through it without being too daunting.
Okay.
So week 1 is simple, basics.
Okay.
Okay, what is proprietary trading? How do we use P-Pro8 in a very simple way?
Amazing.
What's shutdown? What's BP? What's MPP? These are all things people come on the floor they don't necessarily know, okay?
Right.
Like the amount of times I've had to explain what LFT is to people.
Yeah,
right?
we've got to tell them buying power.
Buying power,
BP,
yeah.
LFT is loss from top. You get shut down. They won't let you go to zero. It'll stop you out. And shutdown is obviously how much you risk.
MPP is how your risk scales with performance.
Yes.
Monthly profit projection. So these are all things that are meant for proprietary trading rather than retail, institutional, or even funded trading. This is very specific to prop trading.
Beauty.
The beauty is also, in the first week, we go through our first simple strategies. So we'll talk about momentum trading and the maker-taker model, right?
Like
so
it.
that's all in the first week. It's really fast-paced. That's what I want. I want to get people up to date and like integrated on the floor as fast as possible. So it's a quick program. So the second week, we talk about short selling, market structure, halts, tape reading, and more advanced tools that we could use in Pro 8.
You hear that? Tape reading, people.
Yeah. A very, very specific and highly underutilized skill, in my opinion, nowadays.
Couldn't agree more.
Week 3, I think a really important topic, and a topic that's actually talked about quite a bit, but I still also think is underappreciated, psychology. Trader psychology is, I think, the biggest difference between a good and a great trader, a bad and a good trader. Like, this is the mindset approach to trading can take you further than what people, I think, generally think, okay? So we have a whole week on that. We talk about common trading mistakes. We do a trader self-assessment. We talk about how we learn. How learning about trading is so much different than school. Because school, I forget who I read it or I was watching a video. How you're taught in school is very passive.
Okay.
You go to class and someone is throwing information at you.
Fair.
Okay? The thing with trading is like, yes, this program is a lot of passive learning, but to take that next step is once you get those fundamentals, you have to go out there and actively look how to get better and actively find better approaches to trading. So it's one thing that's kind of very different compared to like regular learning. So we talk about that in the program, how to do it.
Very vocational.
Yeah.
Hands-on.
Hands-on, exactly. Very active, I say. And then also emotions. We talk about how emotions are such a big part of trading and how we have proprietary tools that have been developed over many years and to use when we're getting emotional in our trading. So we're only in our third week. Then this is a new aspect of the program and one that the former manager created, and I'm actually very proud that we're still doing it today, is Python.
Amazing.
Yeah, so there is very basic coding that we teach people. That's actually for 2 weeks. Now Wayne's doing it because I'm terrible at it. But it's a future of trading. It's something that you have to understand, like what is a bot? Like how do bots interact with the market? How can we use Pro 8 to build APIs? So that's something that we do in the program as well. Don't worry, it's not like overcomplicated. It's very simple, but it's a start, right? It's a foundation. That's the whole point of the program.
And we should let everybody know out there that there is an API to Pro 8, and there have been traders on this floor who have made completely exterior programs, how to punch in, share size, percentage, remember cash?
Indicators,
everything, right?
Widgets of all kinds, and then they've implemented that into their trading.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's really cool. Then we do an introduction to live trading. So a big part of this floor over the years, maybe not so much anymore, has been like closing trades. So we talk about how we take trades on the close and our perspective on why those trades are important and how to take them. Yeah, and then lastly, we kind of finish off with risk management and scaling. So obviously an important part about trading, we need to touch base on it. So I go through position sizing, over trading, risk management, and kind of all those things at the end.
Is it fair to say this is a completely different program than the one I went through? This is brand new, isn't it? I did not do this.
When did you start?
May 2022.
Yeah, I think we started, Greg and I built it the beginning of 2023.
Makes sense.
And then I'm
way
constantly
more.
adjusting it. Every class I have a new lecture slide. As the market is updating and adapting, I feel like I have to do the same for my trainees with my program. So every class I throw in new slide decks, new lectures, and how I told Wayne this is like, as Wayne and I get better as managers, as traders, as people, I want to throw all those things into our program and get people on board and trading as fast as possible.
This is
in the
a
best way
hell
possible.
of an education. Guys, I got about 2 weeks, if that, of trading. This is like, we're talking weeks and weeks here. This is as thorough as it's going to get. If you are in the Toronto area and you can get here and you're interested in proprietary trading, here's your man right here. He's the floor manager, Brenkos. Anything else you want to add, my man?
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Guys, so
coming.
email WEI@SelectVantage. I don't know if you have that
Yes,
up again.
I'll put that up
Yeah,
again.
we'll put
Give me
that
a
up
second.
quickly.
Yeah. Where are we at here? All right, so let's do a Google. Yeah, give me a second. I'll put that for you.
I can answer a question maybe if I
Yeah, sure. Have a look at the.
It's been so long. Oh, how much does it cost? That's a great question.
Great.
$0.
What is the email again?
WEI at SelectVantage. This program costs $0. The beauty about Real Trading and Select Vantage is they offer this program for free. It's just your time. So I'll need you here from Monday to Friday. It's a very big time commitment, but not a money commitment. So if you do love trading, like, and you have, I don't know, 3-6 months to come onto the floor and really like work as hard as possible, this is the time to do it.
Ram.
Oh,
Ooh,
perfect.
wow.
So yes,
Ram killing
if
it.
you're in the Toronto GTA area, you have full-time availability, you want to learn to trade with our program and trade behind us, email that. Email your resume to WEI.
Usually, how long does it take to go live?
2 months.
2 months.
I don't see longer than 2. Yeah, you're even like 1.5 months, 2 months. You're going to be live here behind me. I'm going to train you guys up to the best of my ability.
All right, guys, hit that email up with your resume. Hit whatever you're going to send them. Get in touch if you're in the Toronto area. Brenkels,
Thanks for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. All right, guys, let's get to some trading here. I just have to fix this crazy wick candle here on AAPL. As it is let's just say 183.
We'll show how to do that in the program.
Yeah, to fix these wicks in the program, trust me, you're going to be doing a lot of that as we have a lot of dark pool wicks. In case you're wondering why these wicks come in, guys, these are trades and exchanges between buyers and sellers that take place off the legitimate market. It's called a dark pool, and it's kind of regulatory requirement that we show all the prints, dark pool or otherwise, on the charts. That's why they show up, and that's why we can't get rid of them. So, but there is a way to get around it. In any event, Adara getting back here, and we're going to start the lesson ASAP. But just telling you here that I'm continuing to hold my position on Apple into what we made another attempt at low of day. We just bounced 1 penny higher than the low of day, and I should have been taking this opportunity here, moving into the 182.80s to add to my position again in the same way that I did up here at 183.50. Why is that, you ask? Because we moved up into another key area of previous support, this time resistance. We moved up there and we rejected again. This has been doing the same thing, stair-stepping down, bouncing back up into that key level of resistance, formerly support, and then moving right back down again. It's been a rinse and repeat style trade here on AAPL. Now we're 1 1/3 of a percentage point in the negative, in the red on the day. How low can we go? I'm hoping 182. Again, I just put in a bunch of orders on Apple at 180 on my platform for my own account while the real deal with Neil was happening. But yeah, we'll see if I get filled on that. I don't anticipate Apple hitting 180 today, but who knows? Welcome back.
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me back. And thank you so much to Brankles for that that speech there about real trading. And I will say, you know, as someone who came in with quite literally zero knowledge of trading, I feel like I learned a lot. And even because initially I was not really going to be trading at all, but I think really what I learned there was invaluable to help me get started here on the midday in trading. So sincerely, thank you very much for sharing that, and really a great opportunity. So I just wanted to touch on that as well. But yeah, happy to be back here and looking at these stocks.
Helped you set up and stuff, and he taught you a lot of the basics, right?
Exactly, right? Like I was in the class with some of the other traders there, including Patrick, and I wasn't there for the whole class. Like, you know, I was kind of popping in while doing other things, but I still feel like I learned a lot. You know, if there's ever any questions,
with Patty Ice?
Ask. Yeah, Patty Ice. He came in the same week.
Patty Ice.
Yeah. So shout out there. But yeah, so it's a really great learning opportunity. I think especially if you have some knowledge of the market already, you can definitely get something out of it. Because I had no knowledge, and I feel like I learned a lot. And yeah, Brankel's really helpful. Wayne, everybody on the floor.
Amazing.
Really great opportunity.
All right, Adair, while you were gone, we have a new small cap gapper du jour CETY Ram. It is going to halt, it looks like, at 215. Nope, false halt for now. It looked like it was going to halt. This thing is absolutely flying. It started off its life today in the 50-cent territory, around 53 pennies or so. Now we just broke above 2, and we're at 219. It looks like it might halt here at 219. Let's look at, see whether it's going to be a false halt or not. Waiting for that halt indicator to come in, and there it is, halted again at 219. CETY. Let me give you some details on this name. $85 million market cap with the recent bump up, 12.6 million share float, so not tiny, but not big either. We'll see what this bad boy has to offer. The other one, RAYA, another small cap gapper, halted to the upside. I'll give you information on this one as well. That's the name of the Arsenal goalkeeper, by the way, David Raya, RAYA, so shout out to him. $13.2 million market cap. The float on this bad boy, 3.6 million shares, much smaller. And we're getting into that, micro territory here on RAYA, halted at $1.10 right now. We'll see what this one does. It hasn't done that much volume yet, though, guys. RAYA, only 1.12 million shares for a dollar name. That's bupkis. So we're going to have to see whether the volume can start coming in fast and furious on this one. All right, looks like I have a bunch of tags here that I haven't gotten to in the chat. Ivan, look at Apple daily chart. Can it get more bearish? Why add here again? The daily chart, I'm trading it intraday, my man. What I was talking about, though, was adding it for a long in my personal account. I'm buying this one up. I believe in the Vision Pro and the kind of new segment of product that's bringing. I also believe in the AI and the services that I think is still unrealized on Apple. So I'm looking for dips to buy Apple in my personal account. But to add to the short on Apple was technically based, Ivan, and it was because this area here at 183.80 was a key area of support that we bounced off. Then we broke it. And then we came right back up to it. And guess what? We rejected it again, moving another 30 pennies down. That's why I should have been adding here in the same way that I added over here on Apple, right? I initially added here on Apple, tanked all the way back down, came into this level. Why'd I add over here? Because this is a support level on Apple. And support becomes what? It becomes resistance. Bless you, Raymond. And so that's exactly why I added at this particular location over here at this 183.50. So that's what I should have been doing again at this support level over here. And that's why I said that. Zai, does it count as a 40-hour work week? Need it for my visa? I don't know if, I don't know the answer to that. So what I can do is I can suggest that you email Brenkels, WEI, at selectvantage.com and check with him. I don't know the answer to that. Nimit, BLNK, Blink charging. You don't say. Blink charging's moving again. All right.
Blink and you miss it. They were in the watch list this morning,
you were
actually.
waiting for that one. You want to have a look at Blink?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, totally. I can look at Blink. There was prelim earnings on this guy, and not a bad look here either, too. Not necessarily something you'd want to blink at there. Prelim Q4 revenue, over 42 million. The estimate, 34.42 million. So big beat there for Blink. And then full year 2023 prelim revenue, an excess of 140 million, estimate 132.3 million. So nice look there for Blink, pun slightly intended. But yeah, basically with the exception of the slightly lower high that we got at 11, higher highs, higher lows. Where do we stop? No one knows. VWAP, an interesting area for this one. This bounce around 316, not a bad look. Also, because, again, I always say this, the huge thing I learned from Sharif, resistance, support. Resistance at 316. Guess where we find support? 316. I know that was a while ago, but in case we do fall back, that would be an area I'd be looking at. But I think certainly a good look here for Blink, both in terms of the reason they're running today, so from a more fundamental perspective, and also this chart, at least on the intraday, is I have to say a nice look. Only level I can really be cognizant of is going to be that 316, which we did have some moons ago now, but not a bad look at all, to be sure. Fortunately, I don't have any trades right now. I'm looking, I don't have like Sharif with that rotten apple that he's just crushing over there. Congrats to you. That's a fabulous look.
Thank you.
IWM coming back into that area I might swat it down from, namely that 197.50-esque. Meta proving, Sharif and I were talking about this kind of looking head and shoulders-y, and Meta's like, oh, excuse me, what do you mean? Flew back up above, but it still could be if we see resistance at 469.50.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
it
want to
would be a
assume,
head
but
and shoulders at that point, but it would be coming into resistance. I
Right,
agree with
yeah.
you. Yeah.
It's hard to get, right?
Agree.
Patterns don't always have the right name, but it's like you know what to look for, right? So I'm going to be looking for this. I would like it to be a bit rangier. Like, I'm really sad I missed this little range because that was beautiful, but we shall see what we shall see. And right now, we shall see the lesson.
Yes, let's get right back into work today. We are talking about all week. We've been talking about accumulation and distribution. On Monday, we talked about, what did we talk about? We talked about chart patterns and candlestick patterns for identifying accumulation distribution areas. Yesterday, we talked about the macro context, taking market context, news, earnings, etc., catalysts in general, helping to identify accumulation distribution. Today, we're talking about technical indicators on how to confirm accumulation, and distribution. Let's go. Let's start right into this, baby. All right, so volume-based indicators is what we're talking about to start. All right, so when it comes to confirming accumulation and distribution patterns, volume-based indicators hold a unique power. They go beyond price action. They delve deeper and look into buying and selling pressure underlying markets movement. Let's explore some key points here. So understanding the logic behind this, let's understand how this works. Traditional indicators primarily analyze price movements, but volume-based indicators consider the amount of shares traded alongside price changes, of course. This provides valuable insights into the intensity behind price movements, helping discern accumulation from distribution. So that is really the logic behind why we're using volume indicators for accumulation distribution. Some benefits of it, though, very important. It's an early accumulation detector, right? And early distribution detector as well. So high volume during price rises can signal strong buying pressure, which is potentially indicating early accumulation before a significant uptrend. So that is one of the benefits of it. The distribution confirmation, equally as important. Decreasing volume on price declines can confirm selling pressure, suggesting a possible distribution and a weakening uptrend or the start of a potential downtrend. And it also helps filter false signals, because false signals are the bane of a trader's existence, right? Combining volume analysis with price patterns can help filter out false signals and false signals generated by price action alone. That's why we incorporate volume here as well. Some popular volume-based indicators, let's get to those. On-balance volume, or OBV. Very important. Analyzes volume based on closing price movements. So a rising on-balance volume, rising OBV with rising prices suggests accumulation, while falling OBV with falling prices suggests distribution. Similarly, another one we could be looking at here is the Accumulation and Distribution Index, or ADI for short. Very similar to on-balance volume, but it uses a different calculation. So rising ADI in uptrends and falling ADI in downtrends indicate potential accumulation and distribution respectively. And then last but not least here is the Chaikin Money Flow Index, or CMF for short. This considers volume, it considers price changes, and it considers moving averages to gauge buying and selling pressure. So a positive CMF value here implies accumulation, and a negative CMF value suggests distribution. Now, here's how to utilize volume effectively, because we have it, we have to know how to use it, right? So compare volume to its historical averages. I've been saying this a lot in so many different contexts. Higher than average volume alongside rising prices strengthens the accumulation potential, while analyzing volume across price levels is also important. Increased volume at support might indicate buying interest, which is accumulation obviously, while higher volume at resistance could suggest distribution. Surprise, surprise. But don't rely solely on volume. It's very important, but like everything else, we don't rely singularly on it. Combine it with price action, combine it with other indicators, and market context for a more holistic understanding, all right? And here are some advanced tips for you guys with respect to volume-based indicators. Explore volume ratio indicators that compare volume to price changes for detailed insights. Also, volume profile. I said this earlier, a lot of traders on this floor use volume profile. Sadly, I don't have it in my platform, nor is it available on P-Pro 8, but TradingView and Trade Ideas both have it. Volume profile analyzes the volume distribution at different prices. So 183 on Apple, I'm just giving you a random example there. What was the amount of volume done at that 183 level? And then you could look at a price range. What was the volume done between 183 to 183.50 on Apple? And you're looking to make comparisons to other volume areas or other price areas and compare how much volume was done there. And remember, back test your strategies and refine your interpretations based on historical data and market behavior. Questions or comments are there?
Yeah, no, I think one thing too I saw in the chat that I thought was cool was Mr. Memes, Mr. Memes. Thank you so much for saying this here. Also, different indicators work better in different time frames.
Bang.
Always back test. We agreed. One thing too, I'm going to use a word that Sharif uses a lot that we haven't given a lot of love here recently, fractal. Some things are fractal, right? And so certain indicators or certain, I guess this is more with patterns, but also with indicators, sometimes you can see, especially if you're using an indicator to confirm, you can see things more on different time frames, right? Or if you see something on one time frame and you see a different thing on another time frame, that can tell you, even if it's not the exact same. So let's say you're seeing some good RSI movement, you have a confirming pattern on the 5-minute, and then you've got a trend line confirming that on the daily or something like that, right? That can show you, hey, this is, sorry, I yelled that. There's a strong level here. Do not miss this level. Do not sleep on this level. And so I do appreciate that comment there from Mr. Memes or Memes. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, I think that's a nice look there. Also, Willis Addison. Let's go. Upstart puts over $32. Finally dumping. He's got a little the down emoji, dollar emoji, and then that salute emoji that Sean uses a lot on his Twitter. So shout out to Sean and shout out to Willis Addison. $2 super chat. Muchas gracias there. Let's look at Upstart, because I was saying today we had a bit of a down start there. Certainly what you got to benefit from there, Willis Addison, with that $32 put. Yeah, whew. All I have to say about this is woof. It's a rough look. We had a bit of a double bottom at 20, triple bottom at 26, and then we fell. You know, we were talking yesterday about how the more times you hit a level, the more times when that level fails, it will fail with a swiftness, right? And so we saw a skosh of uptick in volume when we finally failed that 26. Because the more times we hit a level without breaking, the more times it shows, hey, this could be a level of importance. The market's trying to tell you something, right? Especially with regards to accumulation distribution. We kept distributing towards that level, and then we fell aggressively.
But did you fall with the swiftness, Adara? That's what people want to know.
We fell with the swiftness and a viciousness and an aggressiveness.
I love it.
Thank you so much. But yeah, we fell with the Taylor Swiftness. I had to say
love it.
It's a pun. But yeah, also the Hayes record saying started DCAing into figs. So shout out to you as well. Thank you for that super chat, that $1.99 super chat. Sorry, before we get back to the lesson, I shall look at all of these little super chats.
I also want to shout out Sofa King 3. Mind blown, Sofa King. He just showed me how to get volume profile on my platform, so I'm gonna say it. I'm pleased as punch.
I'm happy to hear you're pleased as punch, and yeah, I mean too. This we're always happy to be pleased as punch there. Also, I get a kick out of that name, Sofa King.
I wonder if he likes the sofa.
That could be, yeah.
Just the
I think this move here. I'm gonna look at the daily as well. But this figs look. Certainly not bad in the intraday. We broke above that 627 top. So let's look at the daily chart here.
I didn't get it.
We had, okay, you know what? I think this is not necessarily a bad look. We definitely continued bouncing off that 590 area for sure. Continuing to go higher. I think, be cautious around that 680. Not advice, just my take on the chart, but also that 680 even stronger when you consider we bounced off 680 earlier. This was an area of resistance. It became an area of support. Could it become resistance again? Je ne sais pas. We're going to have to wait and find out. But I would say be cognizant of figs as we get into that 680 area. But right now it figures. It's a pretty good look.
I'm being told some stuff in my ear, and
the name. Yeah. I got it because I like puns, but
yeah. Well, I'm obviously not there, right? But Ram was there, the Katina man was there. Everybody understood it, but me. But that's all right. I like being naive like that. It's part of my charm. All right, let's go into the next topic there, Ram. Momentum indicator, guys. Right? We're talking about momentum indicators in the context of accumulation and distribution. So let's start right away, understanding this concept. So momentum, basically what we're looking for is, they don't predict the future, but rather they measure the speed and the intensity of current price changes. Speed and intensity are what momentum indicators measure. Rising momentum suggests increasing buying pressure, which is obviously a potential accumulation, while falling momentum might indicate fading of the buying and the rising pressure, which is obviously rising selling pressure, which is obviously distribution. Momentum indicators as well, they help identify overbought and oversold conditions that often precede the trend reversals. They potentially signal the end of the accumulation or distribution phase. Some popular momentum indicators, as you can see here, one of my faves, Relative Strength Index, RSI, okay? So at its most basic, the RSI measures, has a scale between 0 to 100. Anything over 70 is considered overbought. Anything below 30 is considered oversold. That is not how we typically use it, though. We use it using the divergence method. What is this divergence method? Well, when prices make new highs, but the RSI doesn't make a new high, the RSI and the price are diverging. This could be a leading indicator to tell you that the current uptrend or downtrend, because it works both ways, could be coming to an end. So we look for price action, RSI divergence. Shout out to the NOS boss who taught me how to do that. And there's also confirmation as another method that we can use, another use for RSI. So RSI is dipping below 70 near support. That is a near support area in an uptrend, could confirm buying opportunities, which is obviously accumulation. So if the price is dipping to a key level of support and the RSI dips below 70, this could be an interesting buying opportunity, looking for a new set of accumulation. Again, like everything else though, it is on the balance of the evidence, not to be used in isolation. All right, the other one, the stochastic oscillator. Very similar to RSI, but uses different calculations. Interpret its readings similarly to RSI, so we're looking for price stochastic divergence. All right, same thing. And then we have the moving average convergence divergence, colloquially called MACD. It compares two moving averages and their difference to identify trend direction and strength. When using MACD in the context of accumulation distribution, you should be looking for crossovers. So MACD crossing above its signal line in an uptrend confirms potential accumulation, while crossing below the MACD line in a downtrend suggests distribution. Divergence, another very important use for MACD. When prices make new highs, but the MACD diverges and fails to follow, it may be a sign of weakening momentum and the possible trend reversal. So those are the uses that we use for RSI, stochastics, and moving average convergence divergence, colloquially called MACD. So here's how we're going to use momentum wisely, right? Because you can anybody can throw on a chart and pop in some indicators, but here's how you use them wisely. Don't rely on overbought or oversold conditions for your entry and exit. So just because the RSI moves above 70 or dips below 30, that should not be the reason why you get long or short. Use them as a warning sign, rather, and combine them with other confirmatory signals. And also consider the trend context. We talked about context and how important context is in yesterday's lesson. So momentum works best in trending markets. In range-bound markets, interpretations can be much trickier, and then we've talked about that and how not to use the moving average lines during consolidated markets. And be on the lookout, guys, for false divergence exits, okay? Be cautious and look for confirmation from other indicators and price action before acting on divergences. So just because the RSI and the price action are not jiving, they're not both making higher highs, that should be a warning, not a reason. A warning, not a reason, all right? Here's some advanced tips as well. Explore another indicator that we use called the Commodity Channel Index, or short for CCI, for its versatility in identifying both trending and ranging markets. Also look at the rate of change, ROC, indicator, for its sensitivity to recent price movements, aiding in identifying short-term accumulation or distribution patterns. And remember, guys, I'm always going to say this, backtest, and more backtest. If your platform doesn't have backtesting capabilities, there's your 20% off code right there. Trade Ideas lets you backtest your strategy up to 3 months, 90 days. So make sure to give them a checkout and you can get 20% off. Who can say no to that? Questions or comments to Dara?
Yeah, no, I think one thing too that's really key, and an analogy that I'm going to kind of use, because understanding this helped me.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like VWAP, right? Like VWAP exists, and as you put it, it's always good to know VWAP.
Yep.
Sean had me on the market recap show. I was very lucky back in September, and he really emphasized the importance of VWAP. However, I think one part of understanding VWAP and graduating your VWAP journey is to understand just because it's there and just because we're at VWAP doesn't mean that's going going to be important. And that's
Right.
what I mean
Very good
with the
point.
analogy of this with momentum indicators. Just because they're showing us something doesn't mean we have to jump in on that alone. Now, mind you, VWAP can be an important factor of confluence. You know who we're shouting out, our pal Obi there. And that can be, as Obi said too, sometimes we have level, things will magnetize to certain levels. That's certainly valid, right? We can sometimes have these aspects of the indicators, but what else is everything telling you, right? That's why we say confirmation,
So
because it's
true.
just using it to confirm. And so I thought the VWAP analogy might help, because I think understanding that was pretty big for me in my trading journey. So that's my little analogy there.
Bang.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's talk about trend confirmation in the context, obviously, of accumulation distribution. When navigating accumulation and distribution patterns, identifying the underlying trend. The underlying trend, are we trending up? Are we sideways? Or are we moving down? We have to know where we're at, all right? By confirming the trend, you gain valuable context for interpreting these patterns and making informed trading decisions. Let's explore some key points. So the first one is the importance of trend confirmation. Accumulation typically occurs within uptrends. So, I'm not saying you're not going to see accumulation anywhere in a downtrend. No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you had to put odds on it, it's more likely to occur in an uptrend. I'm talking about accumulation, okay? Which is obviously suggestive of buying pressure pushing prices higher, hence the trend. Distribution, surprise, surprise, often happens near resistance levels in uptrends, though. So we can see distribution, obviously, in an uptrend, like we can see accumulation in a downtrend. But you're going to likely see it at a key resistance level, likely on the daily, likely on the weekly, or some variant thereof, okay? Confirming the trend helps you distinguish genuine accumulation distribution from short-term fluctuations in the price. So that is something you need to focus on, identifying the dang trend. Popular trend confirmation techniques. So how are we going to basically figure out what the trend is telling us? So we can use moving averages, right? Moving averages like the 50 and the 200. So simple ways of using this. You're looking for, number one, is the price above or below these key moving averages. The key ones that I use, 50 and the 200. Those are the standard ones that a lot of people are looking at. Is the price above the 50? Is it above the 200? So if it is, check. Now, did we get a golden cross, for example, from the 50 crossing north of the 200? So if we did, check. So now we have two things on the left column suggesting accumulation and nothing on the other side. We have to look to see if there's anything suggesting that we're not. So that's what you can do there. You can use moving averages in whatever way you want to help confirm trend. There's also trend lines. Wow, trend lines help confirm trend? I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's a plot twist. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan level plot twist there. Who would have thunk it?
Accumulation might occur near support in an uptrend line, while distribution could happen near resistance in a downtrend line. Trend line breaks, these are also important. Decisive breaks above resistance or below support in a trend line could also indicate accumulation and distribution. And some technical indicators that you can use, guys. Utilize trend-specific indicators like the ADX, which is average directional index, to gauge the strength. And use a MACD, like we just finished talking about, moving average converges diverges, to confirm the trend direction and identify potential divergences. Combine these indicators with price action, with volume, with other confirmatory techniques for a more holistic picture. Dara.
Yeah, Sharif. Yeah, no, I think I like the way he said it. I was like, may as well, dabble. No, one thing I think too is pretty key that I want to kind of say there is I think really just noticing also, as you mentioned here yesterday, the more times we touch a trend line too, the more key that is. So if we have a breakout from a very intensely established trend line, that's going to be more significant than if we have a breakout and it was just like we touched it a couple times, right?
Bang.
Like the strength of the trend can help you show you how important it is when it bends, right? Because as Neil says, Obi says a lot, the trend is your friend until the end when it bends. But the more that we have that trend, the more that the reversion from it you'll feel it, and the more notable it will be for the market, especially if we have the breakout with volume. And that's basically one of the biggest aspects of accumulation and distribution that I've realized. It's really everywhere. It's every time we break out of a trend or we break into a trend, it's because there was some kind of influx of buying or outpouring of selling, and I think that's been really important here too. Also, I really like this question from Kendall Lopez always
Go
asking
for it.
thoughtful questions in the chat here. Would you say that time frame confluence would be essential in determining your positions and analysis on support and resistance levels? I would say so, yeah. I think it's something I need to use more, to be truthful as well, but especially sometimes, and I think that's why I like ranges as well, because I like stuff that does have a built-in kind of intraday or time frame based analysis. But sometimes if you don't have as much range, if you're near the bottom of the day, you're near the top of the day, you want to say how low or high can we go? That's when daily levels can be really key and really important. The more times we bounce up against a level or bounce down from a level, you know, that can be really key. And I think sometimes the daily chart can really show you that. And I think, you know, honestly, I'm trying to work the daily chart more into my life beyond, because I'll use it to analyze super chats and analyze stuff in the chat, but I really want to use it more to analyze my own trades. So I think that's a really good point. And I think especially if you have confluence, if you're seeing things on multiple time frames as well, if you see the confluence button, if you see something on one time frame and then you see something that reflects the same kind of thesis on another time frame, that could be really important and could be something to watch out for. So I think I really appreciate you bringing that up, Kendall Lopez.
Yep. All right, I'm just looking here at the small cap gappers that are running. I'm putting Raya, R-A-Y-A, on my chart. CETY also I'm putting on my chart. I've got that on there. This one, they're both pulling, well, they're not both pulling back. Raya is halted up again at $1.44. But the volume on Raya is still suspicious, okay? It's done 3.5 million shares. It's a dollar stock. I need more. The reason it hasn't done enough volume is because it can't stay open long enough, quite frankly, okay? But we did break through a key technical level on the daily on Raya. It was that $1.10, $1.15 area. We broke through it and we're pumping up. The next key area of resistance for me is gonna be this $1.50 to $1.75. That takes us all the way back. Let me show you exactly what I'm looking at here. Here's a current price action, and here is the base that we formed. So I'm looking at this 150 to 175 area for possible resistance, and then you're really looking at above 2. You're looking here probably around 2 and 2/3, excuse me, on RAYA. What a mover this has been on the day. Let's keep an eye out on that, halted at the moment. CETY, the other small cap gapper that's really popping off here midday, got to that 239. Now we have 3 straight down halts off this bad boy. The top again, 239, halted at that 211, 210, halted again at 185, and now it's halted back at 167. Did it halt at 185? I think I'm wrong there. Hold on. No, I'm right. It was 3 down halts. Yeah, so multiple up halts, still above VWAP though. So this is tradable for me still, right? I'm just not going to trade it while it's halted. I'm not looking to catch a falling knife, right? Just putting an order in a random area. But VWAP is at that $1.50, which is an interesting area to have VWAP because, you know, that whole dollar, half dollar level, typically psychological areas of support. So it's nice when they jive with an indicator like VWAP. So we'll have to wait and see what CETY provides us once it is able to get back open. Going to put that bad boy up on a trading screen here, as I feel it may be tradable. DTSS, though, Adara, continuing to break down. This making me look bad, too. You don't want to know why? Not that I traded it badly, but we kept talking about this one putting in a compression pattern and usually it resolves in the direction of the trend, making me look like a dang fool because now it's breaking down to the wrong side. But that's all right. We'll just, you know, roll with the punches there. Now I'm going to pull up CETY because we want that bad boy up on the screen once it is open. CETY trading on the NASDAQ there, Ram, up 212%, a cool 212. So keeping an eye on these bad boys. The other small cap gappers, not tradable for me at the moment.
Yeah, I think too, also one way you could look at it with regards to that DTSS, which by the way, congratulations, it's called data C, and those ducks were certainly wetting their beaks in the water on the way to the upside there. But I think another way to look at it is sometimes, you know, like it shows that not all patterns are going to come to fruition the way you think they are. And, you know, the importance of things like confirmation there and confluence and what have you. Also, NVIDIA, I'm trying to get NVIDIA, and NVIDIA keeps keeping me out here. I really like this trend line bounce. I have a little toe dipper ready to go at 729 should we get there. Not a huge position. I'm getting out if we break below this trend line, if we break kind of into that 728 area. So we'll give it about $1, but it looks like I'm gonna have to wait for the next bounce. I'm just too late to these bounces. You gotta be speedy on these ones like NVIDIA. And I think why I had some of those trades in NVIDIA that worked out yesterday was because I did not take my eyes off the stock. And that's one thing I really should have been more cognizant of, especially if I'm just trying to scalp ranges. Honestly, wish I was involved in some more names. I will be keeping a lookout for things I can trade. Don't want to force myself into anything, especially because I do find, you know, I'm at my best when I'm at my scalpiest, and there are certainly some ranges here. I just need to be working on my entry times. Also, I did hop out of the IWM. Happy with this. This was just a case of risk management. It didn't work out. That's okay. I left. And we held, to be clear, we did hold that 197.70 area like a glove, which is why I added a little bit. We were hanging out in this position for a while. I was like, I wasn't pleased as punch, but I wasn't disappointed or anything either. Then we had the decisive break into that 197.75, took out part of it, took the whole thing out at 197.80. Decisive break of the range, super tight stop there and super tight out there. But yeah, really I was just trying to get to the end of the range here. We didn't get there, that's okay. I'm gonna watch what we do at this 197.90. If we break above it, that is a danger zone for me, because like I said, I always get a little bit nervous getting involved in a long at high of day or a short, with the exception of this has already been kind of rangy. I have my predefined levels. If we break it out into this 198, I'm not gonna have any levels here. So IWM will have to say, go buy WM from my side chart. I'll put something else up there instead, because I just wanna make sure I'm not forcing myself into a name just to trade it. But yeah, NVIDIA, really my main look here. We get into those levels and then we pull back. However, my other caveat with NVIDIA is not Tesla, sorry Tesla. NVIDIA, what I like about this too is we're also approaching a key level. I would wager a key area of resistance. So we could be actually breaking out of this trend line range I'm talking about too. And I say that because look where we were at 630. This was our pre-market range, top. We around the open, we bounce off that 730 with a vengeance, and then we come back down here, and now we're kind of having a struggle decisively breaking that 730. I do not want to short without more confirmation here, mind you, because it still looks trendish to me, but I want to be very careful.
Distinctly decisive?
It's not distinctly different. It could be distinctly different, but you know.
Distinctly decisive.
Distinctly decisive. That is, it's not distinctly decisive yet. It does not know what it wants to be when it grows up. But hopefully, yeah.
Everybody in the chat should know we're using an Obiism there. That's one of his.
It's one of Sharif's favorite Obiisms, I think.
By far, distinctly different. Guys, CETY halted again. Down again though. This is halted now to $1.63. We're keeping an eye here on CTY. Well, it's because it's one of the only only small cap gapper that is above VWAP at the moment. VWAP again at that $1.50. It's the fourth halt down in a row now on CETY. Giving up the ghost here. Still up well over 200%. So we're watching this one. We're looking for a possible area of support where it is right now. I'm not going to take any position on this until it opens and I watch how it trades again. I am a little bit cautious with this name just based on the sheer volume that this one is done. It's not really that much. That's the problem between CETY and RAYA. They're both doing suboptimal amounts of level of volume given their prices. I mean, these are all dollar stocks. They should be doing at least 20, 30 million shares of volume by now. They're not. So that probably has a lot to do with the fact that they've been halted umpteen amount of times. But we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's flip over here to big tech. We've been in this Apple trade for the majority of the show. And this one seems to be basing out, for whatever reason, at that 182.5. Hasn't really broke. In fact, it hasn't broke 182.5. The low of day right now is 182.51. We've been dancing there multiple times. Look how many times we've attempted to break that 182.50, but have been unable to, right? All the moves into the 50 period have all been sold off eventually, but that 182.50 continues to remain elusive. I'm on the other side of that here with this profit taker sitting at 45s, 182.45. Apple, for me anyway, the weakest name in Mag 7 world on the day and has been essentially for the last 2 weeks. Down 1.25% today. It is only red with Google. The only red name in Mag 7 world today is Apple and Google, and Google's barely red. Google's up down 0.2, right? And Google and Google are diverging again. Eh? Yeah, that's the second time, or maybe the third time in so many weeks that it has been diverging. Google and Google are two different Google stocks. They usually move in tandem. Not today. They're not exactly in tandem.
They're not besties.
No, clearly not.
They're in a fight.
Nimit says Snap is making moves. Let's have a look at Snap here for Nimit. Let's take off this CETY. Yeah, that's all right. Let's see what Snap has been up to. Shout out to, what's that CEO called again? The one
Evan
who still
Spiegel?
have his job somehow?
Evan
Yeah,
Spiegel?
Evan Spiegel. Yeah, so this one, we're moving, Nimit, but we're not really moving. Up 2.5%. Definitely had that 11.25 support that we had earlier. Formed a bit of a bottom around there. Now moving up into just a little bit below 11.5. Nothing for me on Snap though, Nimit. I'll take a pass on that. People saying Airbnb. Let's have a look at Airbnb. Obviously an earnings play. Coming in with, mostly disappointing earnings, but not too bad. Looking to make a comeback though, so it's been putting in higher lows and higher highs for the last little bit here. Basing out, where did we make a low? Almost 142.5. Now we're knocking on the door of 147. So a nice recovery on Airbnb on the day. How high do we go? We'll have to wait and see, but we definitely have that key level of resistance that we made at 148 earlier on. Let's see if it breaks through that. So those are the trades. Those are the names that we can keep an eye on. What else we got over here? I can't believe what I'm looking at. Have you looked at SMCI today?
No.
SMCI is now up 200% on the year. On the year, we're halfway through February. This thing is up 200%.
I have no words.
Unreal, bro.
Oh.
Unreal, bro. SMCI is flying, guys. 850 coming in on SMCI. Let's pull up SMCI.
850.
Yeah, man.
This was below $400.
Ram. Yeah. Unreal. Yeah, so here it is, SMCI 7% to the good today. We started off the pre-market there at around sub 820, and obviously we dipped down there on the institutional orders. This was like 813 in the late pre-market, and then there you go. Look what it did on the day, 885. We're going to see 900 on SMCI probably by the end of the week. Who knows if this market continues to pump. Right now, in a bit of a retracement though, rejecting off that VWAP pop right there. That's a nice little move. Double bottomed at 836, moves into that 855 area at VWAP, and there it goes down. You would have had $15 on that VWAP rejection right now on SMCI, but that's just all noise. This thing is an absolute beast on the daily, so we'll see what we get there. All right, what is everybody talking about here? What happened to MGM earnings? Antoine asks, not one really cover here. Rock, Adara, Sharif, SMCI $700 calls went from about $100 to $17,000. Man, options, I told you that's part of my things this year is to learn more about options. Anyway. No trades except for this Apple trade for me. We'll look to get into something new. What are you looking at over there?
I'm looking at my dreams dying. No, I'm joking. It's fine. NVIDIA flushing.
Look at Hood for Nick Dubb. He's been asking me for a while.
I just want to get out of the.
You want me to take over?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure,
I just need to get out video right
just
now.
Tell me, because sometimes I don't know. Right?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I was trying to let her do her thing. 21.
Yeah,
I think she wanted to do was stress me out.
Let's have a look at Hood for big Nick Dubb. Let's pull up this bad boy Hood. Obviously an earnings winner yesterday. They didn't just report interest income, which is what they've been doing the past little while. No, this time they actually had inflows. And the reason for those big inflows, obviously, is a change of the market circumstance, but also they were offering you 1% on transfer cash. So if you had a good amount of money, you transferred it over to Hood, they threw 1% your way just for moving the money. They've been making money off that. They've also been making money off the recent surge in crypto interest, right? So trading volume is back up again on Hood. It had been falling since the meme stock craze, right? It had been going down. Now it's back up here on Hood. It's trying to dance with 13 right now, Ram. It tried to break through 13 initially, rejected off the 200 period moving average on the one. You know, you had a big move down. Obviously, people look and take a little bit of profit after that big move, but trying to work its way up to 13 at the moment. I want to see it get above this key level. And this key level, this rejection over here is not in isolation. Look at this consolidation bottom that we had earlier, right? That 1305, 1310 area was a key level of support. You pop back up into 13 and a third, and then Huadunk, you break that level. So we weren't able to break that former support level, acting now as resistance. Let's see what we do when we make our way back up to that 1310 area. Can we reclaim it, or are we going to kind of range for the remainder of the afternoon? That's what I'd say, Nick Dub. Keep an eye out on this 1310, 1307 area. Let's clear that first, and then maybe we can make a move into VWAP around 1330, Adara.
Yeah, so thank you for taking over there. Much appreciated. And yeah, we'll have to see what's going down in the hood today on Robinhood. Will it steal from the buyers and give to the sellers? I don't know. Bad Robinhood joke. Also, yeah, so now NVIDIA, I got it at 729. Now NVIDIA's like, oh, actually, I like 729. Let's keep going. So it is what it is. Risk management, not always pretty, but always essential. And trying not to be too much of a hater on the stock right now. I'm out NVIDIA. We can breathe more easily again. And some people mentioning Tesla. So let's pay our old pal a visit here. Ooh, okay, I need to zoom in here. Yeah, I think we're getting very close to breaking that top of that 186.50 area. We actually have kind of broken it. I want to look at the daily to see what kind of levels we're going to be considering here. Shout out to Kendall Lopez mentioning looking at different levels. Sod also, I believe, in the chat coming with some good lessons as well with regards to levels. The more, if you see something in a higher time frame, that's going to give you a little bit more strength. That's going to be a bit more confirmatory. Ooh, okay. So this is a bit of a longer term, but I think this 195 area, should we get there, could really be interesting because that was where we had this big bounce up back during the November to Remember, and then we've bounced off of it twice now. So I think support becoming very strong resistance. In terms of just kind of other moves over here, I don't mind this kind of 185, 85 area. Something we could bounce off of. We had a candle open there, then we had a candle close there, so I don't think that's a bad area at all. Should we fall back a little bit? I think we're within an okay range. Really, though, the main levels I have right now on the daily chart are going to be that 195, which I do not know if we're going to be seeing today. Also, are we rejected? We almost broke that 186.50. Now we're curling back a little bit. I could short this. I don't want to jump into this, but if we see this continued rejection, this could be a little bit of a short to me. Also, IWM, speaking of breakouts, made a big move up to the upside, so I'm going to have to remove her from my side chart because, yeah, this is, whew, congrats to anybody who hit that long. It's a beautiful break to the upside here. Also, Diamond Realty of Miami mentioning coin flushing. So let's see if I can give my 2 cents on coin. That was a pun. Ooh, okay. So this is what's interesting about coin. I do concur, Diamond Realty in Miami, but what I think is more interesting is the level at which we're having this rejection.
Oh.
Not a double top because we did top earlier, but we keep coming into this 159 and then swoop into the downside. But I think it'll be more decisive should we make a lower low because we haven't made a lower low yet. Right now, we're still within the trend line. That being said, I do totally see what you're seeing, Diamond Realty of Miami, and I think this break below this 157.60, a decisively lower low, would be an even better look for a move to the downside with coin. As always, though, my caveat A, not advice, just my take on the chart, and B, I get really nervous reading the charts for anything crypto related because crypto is what's moving in Bitcoin is always going to win out over what I think the chart's doing.
Oh, yeah.
So just my caveat there.
Adara,
I really want to be careful.
Tesla is pumping up here, baby. And we're on our way, possibly, you saw the Neil put in the chat that we were on our way into 17.8, and I couldn't agree more about that. We could be inching our way up there, but Tesla is not waiting for the part. Oh, goodness, these dark pools are going to be the bane of my existence. All right, let me have to adjust this. I don't even know which dark pool is causing this ruckus over here. All right, I'll just show you this chart over here on Tesla while I fix that. TSLA, here we go. All right, so this on the side, you're going to see the volume profile pop up here on my chart. So this is showing you where the volume is taking place. Remember what we were talking about? It's called the volume histogram on my platform. It's called volume profile on others, and it's showing you, okay, at this 185 price, look how much volume took place over here. At this area of resistance as well, look how much volume. So that's all we're looking for here, is to see how much volume is taking place at what price. That's really all that it is. While the volume bar over here is showing us how much volume is taking place during that 1 minute candle, but that could have 5 minute candle, that could have different prices, right, on that candle. So that's why you look for volume profile for the price rather than the time. But Tesla is on its way up, possibly into that 107. You have a succession of higher lows and higher highs, so a bit of an upward channel We are encountering resistance, though, where we encountered it before, just south of 187. So we're at 186 3/4 right now. We're inching into towards the 200 moving average on the 10. So that comes into around 187, 187.10 or so. We also have this area, this low from yesterday at 187.50 to 187 1/3 as a possible resistance level. So that's why, or not from yesterday, the day before, pardon me. So this will be from the 12th, not the 13th. So look at this consolidation low yesterday from the 13th where we bottomed out at. And then surprise, surprise, today's high coming right into that consolidation low from the 13th and then rejecting. So I'm awfully cognizant of that 187.50 resistance level, 187.50 essentially to 187 1/3. So that 17 penny range in and around there. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at for Tesla. But a nice move up here. It's one of the strongest of the bunch. Obviously, I mentioned that today. TSLA and Meta, the strongest of the Mag 7 names. But it's really Netflix who's taking the cake today. If you want to include Netflix in with these names as well, look at the move here on Netflix, breaking through that 575. We had several wicks into 576 and even an earlier wick there into 577. But this one, it's plagued by low volume. That's the problem with Netflix. It's a $500, almost $600 name, and it's only done 3 million shares. By comparison, Apple's done 26. So the volume on Netflix, always a little low. Not always, but mostly a little low. But definitely a strong name on the day. We'll continue to watch and see what happens with the NFLX and TSLA. But I think I did get printed there. Oh, come on. Very close to getting printed on my 182.45 order. It looks like we dropped into 182.46. So that is the low of day now on Apple. I'm sitting at 45s. I was looking for a flat bottom break here. Looks like I got it, but not on a closing basis. So didn't get printed on that Apple dip. I'm going to pack my patience on this one because we are at lows. The only thing that I lament is not having added on these bump ups here. I should have been more aggressive like I was over here, adding on the pops. This is obviously a short on the day. And so, yeah, sucks to be me, I guess. As I mentioned, 17.8 was coming, and then it looks like it turned right back around. So we had these topping tail candles here into that 17.7 low 90s, and then it looks like we were rejected, but we're bouncing off 50, 17.750 for now. I don't know where to take the future today. It's been, I don't want to say a rangy day, but it just hasn't been, that classic momentum day that, I thrive on. And so we'll just take whatever trades we can get. And today, the best I could do is Apple and DTSS. So please as much. You okay? Oh, sorry. I didn't know that you were rechanging your battery. Just tell me. Yeah, no, we're gonna have to do something about Tesla here because it's popping right back up again. It dipped into 186 and then it flew back up into 186 2/3 again. So Tesla has a lot more strength than some of these other names. Let me just change this stupid 185.81. Let's just say 185.81 high there. There we go, 185.81. And is that gonna adjust it? What's going on with this chart? Thank you. Is my battery dead? It's low, okay. That's weird.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm good now. I apologize for the
Neil, can I get some help if you're not in a trade? Because this chart is losing its mind. Yeah, can you take it over?
Yeah, of course. So basically NVIDIA, we got NVIDIA, then we got Outvidia. I'm happy. I ended up being happy I got out where I did because that's why we come up with risk management levels. This short, though, is about to hit. It's a really, I say about to hit, who knows, but I have it. This is literally just a dollar scalp. Still in the sim as I learn and hopefully grow as a trader. Really the main thing I've been saying is I'm just trying to work on consistency. I only trade about 3 hours a day. I trade while I'm on the midday because I have other things I'm doing other than that point. But if we get to this 725.50 area, I have a beak wetter at the ready. We're going to be Outvidia at that point should we get there. Really, my main reason for entering here, this was less chart-wise, although I did like this kind of earlier area of rejection, and more based on levels. Also, buy NVIDIA, we're out. But my main thing here with NVIDIA that I want to talk about is the 727 level yesterday. I was harping about 727 all darn day. I was like, oh my gosh, 727. We kept playing run on that level. I'm going to go to yesterday so we can kind of see this on the 5-minute. But that's why I was super cognizant of this level today, to use a word we use quite a lot in the midday. Look how many touches of 727 we had. I'll zoom out so we can kind of see this in all its glory. 727 in the pre, we come back there, 1030, bounce. Then we flush at 727. One more time, flush at 727. 727, 724 were my two key areas for NVIDIA. I didn't get top wick. I didn't get in right at 727, but I got in below, and I was happy with that. Nick W., yeah, that's a good question. Why don't you hold till 722 support? I could have kept a piece of the dream for that, and I think, honestly, though, because I like to scalp a little bit more, and I think I need to work on holding things for longer. That's fair too. But I think usually I found that when I've held things for longer, when I don't have a plan to scalp, then sometimes I feel like it goes against me. And that's what I mean by scalpulation as well, right? Like if I see what's happening in the tape, then I have a little bit of confirmation based on, I have a plan going into it, but based on what's in the tape, I'll kind of finagle a little bit. I was happy with 720, 550 though. Really, I was talking, yesterday I made the analogy of the difference between, in my eyes, revenge trading and avenge trading. Revenge trading is when you go on all willy-nilly. Avenge trading is when, hey, something didn't work out, but I see something I like here, and I'm going to take advantage of it. That's what I tried to do with NVIDIA. This long didn't work. Really, what I wanted to do was just get in and out of a trade I felt comfortable in, and that's what I felt about that NVIDIA short. That being said, I totally agree with you on 722 support.
Can you pop up Tesla on your chart there to see what it's looking like?
Mine's doing things too.
Okay, but my things are gone. I took them off.
Oh.
And it's still acting super. Neil doesn't know what the hell's going on with this either. So I won't be able to pull up Tesla on my main trading screen here, but we'll show you Tesla later. Guys, we are bouncing. There's an epic fight right now happening between buyers and sellers at 182.50. Look at all these wicks into 182.50, all of them being bought up right now on AAPL. There's a lot of volume taking place here too. I'm looking at my volume histogram, and this is one of the most outsized volume areas on the chart. We're really holding 50 for, and you could tell someone absolutely is buying it up at 182.50. There is not that much size on the book to justify holding up here. Now we break it, but for how long? Right back above 50 we go again. So this $0.50 level here on AAPL being defended awfully aggressively by somebody. Go. It is working. It is. Just they put it down. What are you printing on?
10 minutes ago, we told people we're short arm again at 128.
The Katina man reloaded arm at 128, and now he's $3 in the money again. Shout out to the Katina man, not letting arm out of the corner there. I was about to use one of your things, but I'm like, I'll leave it for you. He's strong arming arm.
I wouldn't have even done that one, so I like that one very much indeed. And yeah, shout out, he's wearing the North Face sweater, but he's taken arm to the south side.
Oh,
the Katina man is.
Oh, I like that. That was a lot better than strong arm and arm right there, baby. The pun queen strikes again, baby. Can you do the floss? I've never even tried. She thought about it for a second,
I did think about it to think if I could do it, because I know, so when I did dance as a child, and that was like a big, it takes like, I have to think about it. I can't do it without thinking about it. That's my thing, right? Like, while you do it, you have to be like, but yeah, no, I cannot. Also, Nate Belt saying cost him an arm and a leg. Well, I guess he actually made an arm and a leg there too, with that arm short there. Yeah, just punning, having a good time. Meta bouncing back up here. We shall see what we shall see. I should have gotten involved in this 9 EMA, but
Katina man, what are your thoughts on Tesla long at these levels? I just want to get your opinion. He's not interested in it. He wants it at 182. That's where the Katina man is interested. I'm going to read it up. So I've been given the sticky note is in my hand at the moment. Top left here. Hold on. Where does it say? Bottom left. Bottom left. He wants me to read top left, which is Google 144 long. And then Tesla 182 long. Shout out to the Katina man. He's sticking to. Let's check out Google. Well, Google is long at 144 and it's off 144.09. Calm down, bro. Calm down, bro. Shout out to the Katina man there. That's a $1 winner. So if you're following with the sticky note, you're $1 in the money. You were $1 in the money. You're 70 pennies in the money now. On Google, we talked about Google and Apple being the only two Mag 7 names on the day. Ram, can you do the floss? Ram, you don't want to do the floss on that camera over there?
She flosses on the podcast.
The
False
Katina man says
advertising.
Ram's gonna floss on the podcast. So make sure to watch the podcast, right? Or listen to the podcast, whatever you need to do. Ram, you don't wanna do the floss? She says that is so old. She doesn't want to do that. She wants a newer trend. I don't know. What's a dance the kids are doing these days?
I don't go on TikTok. You're on TikTok more than me. Of the two of us.
I don't get my dances from TikTok. I get my best information comes from TikTok. People
No,
think
I know
I'm
you
on
use TikTok for other reasons
Yeah,
that aren't
yeah,
dance.
yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't trying to like.
No,
I'm
no,
just
it's
saying
okay.
realistically, like, oh, cringe says live trading with Trader TV / Ramin.
/ Ram, exactly. Yeah, well, she's not a fan about that, but she may or may not do the floss on the podcast. So you're going to have to find out by listening to the podcast.
out
There
the
it is,
podcast.
baby. The Katina Man and the Neil are going to be podcasting on Friday to be released on Saturday. So make sure to check out the pod on wherever you listen to the pods. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be on YouTube as well. Adara, we are at that 182.46 level again, but we are not breaking that level on Apple. I'm trying to pack my patience here and not move up my order, but we've been waiting for umpteen amount of minutes at 182.45, and it just isn't printing. I put another beak wetter south of that at 39 to de-risk a little bit here, so I feel we are getting extended to the south side. It's acting up again? All right. So we'll see whether we get this print on Apple, but been waiting here for an awfully long time without a print there. But I am very interested in taking a long on Tesla. The only issue for me is I can't chart it that well because of this issue I'm having with my chart. So I'm going to look for a solution for that, and then maybe we can weasel away into Tesla. But I'd like to get a print here to de-risk a little bit on Apple. But whoever's buying this name up at the whole dollar level, look at the amount of buying. These are all ones. Okay, so these are ones, meaning these are dark pools.
Oh my God, are you
Yeah.
People want that level at Apple.
See how they're all ones? See how it's size 111? That's a giveaway right there.
Oof.
That's a giveaway. You know that you don't just put orders for one share, right? A zillion amount of times. That's obviously an algo that's up to no good there. So we'll see what we get here on Apple. But we know that Apple has a big buyback program,
They
right?
do.
We know Uncle Warren likes Apple as well, so they could be looking to add on the dips. I'm not really sure. We're just positing different ideas, but that print is remaining very elusive today, Adara.
Yeah, you're dancing with danger there. And I think that reminds me one thing too, you told me if there's ever like partial fills or if there's ever struggles like that, it means for whatever reason, someone wants that level. So I
Right.
think clearly you're onto something with those beautiful little beak wetters there at the ready on the way down on A to the A to the P to the L. Also with regards to Uncle Warren, it's kind of his big week.
Right.
Coke reported yesterday. Oxy reporting in time for Valentine's Day tonight. Not that it has anything to do with Oxy. Maybe you're
Right.
gonna get your loved one gas, I don't know. But Oxy reporting tonight. Oh,
Hello.
hi, Warren. Hi, how's it going? How's Coke doing? Yeah, I don't know. I had nothing to say to him, apparently. Also, hopefully, if he was calling, I would not answer the phone like that. But
It's 1:20. Do you wanna have a look at the lesson?
yeah, absolutely, I would love to. I just want to look quickly at
Yeah, do your thing.
Palantir for someone in the chat was mentioning Palantir. Also, bless you to whoever just sneezed there. Oof. Okay, Palantir. Palantir. This I think it was this. I don't want to say head and shoulders, but we're certainly seeing some interesting areas of resistance. I'll put it that way. We get up to 25.4, but we have these two touches of 21.51, and now we're. I think if we break down below this level, this could certainly be an area of interest. The one thing that stops me from decisively saying head and shoulders is A, this break of a neckline would be kind of hard, and B, this is a slightly warped shoulder, which doesn't mean that that's necessarily going to be what's happening, right? Like, we're going to have to wait and see on this look. But I think certainly if we break to the downside, it could be with the swiftness. I would absolutely be watching 2470, which incidentally is pretty close to VWAP. That's where we had that shoulder there earlier as well. So I will be keeping an eye on that name. Time for lessons.
Yep.
Time for school. We are learning, oh, what am I doing to my PowerPoint here? Thank you guys for taking my screen off that. I don't know what I'm up to. But we do know what we're up to, technical indicators for confirmation. So volume-based indicators, this is a really huge one, and this is something I learned a lot about as well, taking notes for myself here for this as well. So basically, volume-based indicators have a special kind of power or magnetism when it comes to accumulation and distribution, because they don't just use price action, they also look at buying and selling pressure, which is what accumulation and distribution is all about, baby. I tried to do the Sharif there. Didn't quite work, I tried. But I think that's really key there as well, right? So understanding like the logic. What are we talking about when we talk about volume-based indicators and AD? So basically, it's the idea that traditional indicators will usually just look at price movements. For understanding logic here, we really want to look at the idea of the amount of shares traded in addition to the price changes. And that way we can also see, hey, are there any key levels we're seeing at certain volume? Are there any specific wars of buying and selling we're seeing at specific volume or at specific areas? Cough, cough, whatever's happening with Apple over there. Because that's certainly an area where there's some interest, right? To use an example of something in the wild, as we are wont to do here. But yes, if you include volume, you're not just looking at price, you're also looking at insights into the intensity behind the price movements. You know, are we coming with it really intensely, with this viciousness or with this swiftness, or are we just kind of, we're kind of at the level? Because the more volume and more interest we have at a level, specifically for breaking a level, the more interest people are into the stock and the more key that level may be. So certain benefits you can get from these volume-based indicators include early accumulation detection. So before everyone else is seeing, we're kind of seeing, hey, you know, this is an area, for whatever reason, we're seeing volume at this level. You might not know why it's key yet, but you'll know there are some people looking at it. There's some people looking to buy here. And this can also indicate accumulation before the uptrend, so you can buy early, which is always nice. You know what I mean? Buy low, sell high would be the perfect dream there indeed. Distribution confirmation is also really important here. So if you have decreasing volume on a price decline, that can confirm that we do have selling pressure, which can suggest more distribution and a weakening uptrend or potential downtrend on the horizon. Because as we said, you know, usually if you're in accumulation or distribution, you usually have a little bit lighter volume before we have that big spike out of a trend. So that can be really important there as well. Filtering false signals. So it's really easy to get false signals in the market. So many people use different time frames. So many people use different indicators or different ways of looking at the market patterns, what have you. Everyone will have their own little tool. But if you're using these volume indicators, you can see, hey, am I just seeing something because it's on the pattern, or is there volume telling me that this is a reason or this isn't a reason to enter this trade? So what are some popular volume-based indicators? Going to start up here with OBV, on balance volume. So this one will look at volume based on the closing price movement. This is something actually, you know, I would have to ask Sharif about on balance volume, because I know Sharif likes those closing price levels, absolutely. And if you have rising on balance volume with rising prices, you've got some accumulation. If you have falling on balance volume with falling prices, you know what it's going to be. Distribution. Now let's talk about the AD line, the Accumulation Distribution Index, the A to the D to the I. This one's kind of similar to on balance volume, but it uses a different calculation. So if you have a rising ADI and an uptrend and a falling ADI and a downtrend, you're going to see accumulation and distribution. Same kind of idea. These ones very much go with the grain, and if they're going together, then that trend may continue. It may not bend just yet. Last but not least, Chaikin money flow. This one, cash flow. Shout out to Kevin O'Leary, who Sharif had the pleasure of interviewing there.
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful.
And he reposted me on his Instagram. I was pleased as punch.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, the cash flow was coming into the Instagram on that one. So the Chaikin money flow, though, we'll look at volume, price changes, and moving averages to get a look at buying and selling pressures. And if you have a positive CMF value, you'll have accumulation. Negative CMF value will suggest distribution. And I have some comments on money flow as well that I mentioned, but I'll get into those when we get to RSI, because they actually a little bit similarities there, which is kind of interesting. Utilizing volume effectively is also incredibly important. So if you have higher than average volume, alongside your rising prices, you have a stronger accumulation signal. So that means, hey, when we get to these prices, more people are interested in said levels, which I think is pretty important. You also want to look at volume across different price levels. So what are we doing at certain price levels? What kind of volume, say, were we breaking NVIDIA 500 with? So if we get a sense of what we do at price levels, then we know we can kind of compare relative volume. We can see, hey, is this going to be a key price level based on what we're doing with this volume, or is this just another day? I mean, lately, to be fair for NVIDIA, any break of a major level has been just another day. But just, you know, for the sake of analysis here, for argument's sake. Also, you want to look at other things beyond volume. Volume is not a be-all, end-all. It's just one of many little pieces of fruit we can add to our fruit salad there as we trade and add to the mix. You want to combine it with price action, other indicators, and market context for a full-bodied understanding of what this stock or what this thing is doing.
Sounds
What
like
are
a
some
wine or something, full-bodied
Yeah, I
wine.
know,
Like,
right?
what's going on? Love it.
I don't. Analogies. Apparently,
good.
I'm making food analogies.
I'm feeling
today.
Friday. It's still Wednesday.
It's
I'm feeling
like
very Friday. Yeah, yeah.
Friday. But yeah, also we want to talk about volume ratio for some advanced tips. So these volume ratio indicators are going to look at volume with price changes for more detailed insights.
Right.
What about volume profile? That can give you a look at volume distribution at different price levels. So like we were saying, at what prices are we really seeing interest? Are we really seeing disinterest? Because that can let you know which prices are going to stand out, which prices are just any other Tuesday. Or any other Wednesday, because it's a Wednesday. So that can be pretty key there as well. Now time for momentum indicators. What is the concept? What are we talking about with these momentum indicators? So this is the idea that we're not just predicting prices, we're also looking at the speed and intensity of the current price changes. What's happening?
She put my screen. I'm like pointing at your screen.
It is pretty hot there.
She's having a heat stroke. It's so hot in here.
Yeah.
Do you know that the air conditioning or the climate control thing is off? We can't even work it. You turned it on? I swear to you it was off. I swear to... Okay, when I went, it was off. Put it that way. I wouldn't make it
madness.
up, Katina, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah, shout out to Fabian Ramin. And also shout out, because they had that little, when Brankles was on with the email, that looked beautiful on the screen.
Oh,
shout
yeah.
out, working, killing it, Fabian and Ramin.
Oh, yeah, Ram,
killing it there,
Fabian, kill it.
always. Also, yeah, back to our little lesson here. What really the concept of this is the idea that momentum indicators aren't just looking at prices, but the speed and the intensity of the current price changes. So are we moving with a swiftness, or are we just kind of moving? Because that is going to make a difference. They also can help you look at overbought and oversold conditions that are preceding trends, and this is where you can help find divergence and trend reversal. So if you're going to be a bit of a mean reversion trader, these indicators may be of use to you. I sound like a PSA or a shopping channel ad there, but good times. Let's look at relative strength index. So this one, you have a range of 0 to 100, and readings above 70 are going to imply overbought conditions, and below 30 are going to be oversold conditions. So you're really going to be looking for divergence. So when a price makes a new high, but the RSI doesn't follow suit, it could suggest weakening momentum. But confirmation, let's say if you got RSI dipping below 70 near support in an uptrend, that could affirm some buying opportunities and make it clear, hey, there could be some accumulation, there could be some more upside on the horizon. So I think really key way of looking at it. Also, when I was looking at the money flow index, there's actually some similarities here with relative strength index, and that's because they both have a range that they work on, and they both can give you not just a sense of, is this a good time or a bad time to buy? It can give you a range, like where are we in this beautiful fluctuating little scale there, or on this level. I think that's pretty key there as well. Also, Ram saying said ice cream.
She's melting down over there like everybody else in this office is melting. Do you feel the heat?
I do.
Yeah,
in my little turtleneck. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're wearing a turtleneck
This was
too.
not the day to accidentally look like Elizabeth Holmes, let me tell you. this was not the day for it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's
As
very
I said
hot
that, I
in
got
here.
like a
What?
a big flash of heat there.
Yeah?
Thank gosh I did not wear a blazer, let me tell you.
I wonder if she has excessive heating in her jail cell.
She's out though.
Is she out?
Yeah.
On parole?
No, I think I don't know like the
Out,
details
out?
of her being, I don't think she's out.
Like a halfway house?
Well, she has like a kid. So I was reading this interview.
That's
and she was like,
Look at this, bro. If you guys missed that, rewind and look at what just happened. You had the Chilean nightmare fanning Ram try to keep her cool, man. It's hot in here, guys.
yeah.
Come on, Eddie. Come on, bro. You kill me, Eddie. Sorry.
Yeah, we're having a good time over
Is she
here.
out for real?
Okay, all I know is there was an interview, I think it was the New York Times, it was her and a little baby. And I don't know if she's like out, but I know she was not in jail when she was walking her baby around the park in New York. I'll put it that way. I think it was New York.
Well, yeah.
New
I
York
mean,
Times.
I don't imagine Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah, but no, because I don't think she's like fully in jail. Although I did like your turtleneck jail joke. I was like factually, I am not 100% sure what is happening here.
Projected release of
okay, so
December 29th,
maybe that was
2032.
before she was sentenced.
Yeah.
The thing I read then. I don't
Maybe,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry
Well,
about that there, guys.
Yeah.
Accidental
I knew she was going to
misinformation.
be in jail for a little
Yeah,
bit.
no, that makes sense. She should. Yeah, that makes way more sense. I apologize for that.
That's
there.
the
Thank you for
holy
looking that
grail,
up.
what she was trying to build there. You know that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, that's what everybody wants.
Like the idea of it was really excellent. The fraud was not so.
No, it's not. I'm
That's what
sorry to
we'll say
interrupt
there.
your lesson.
It's okay. Yeah, no, that was an interesting. Okay, thank you, Darcy Santala, saying minimum security prison in Texas. Yeah, and thank you for looking that up.
I
Sharif,
see.
there.
I
wasn't
see. That makes
100%
sense. That's
sure.
probably why she's able to see her kid.
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense. But yeah, anyway, sorry about that for that distraction there. Apologies. But yeah, stochastic indulator. Oscillator. Oh my gosh, I was so proud of myself saying stochastic. I forgot to say oscillator. I apparently combined index and oscillator. But it's not an indulator, it's an oscillator. It's similar to RSI, but it has slightly different calculations. So you can interpret its reading similarly to RSI for confirmation to see, hey, are we going to be overbought? Are we going to be oversold? Is this a good point of entry? What about the MACD? This will look at two different moving averages and their difference to identify trend, direction, and strength. So for crossovers, if you've got the MACD crossing above its signal line in an uptrend, you've got potential accumulation. If you're crossing below it, then in a downtrend, you've got some distribution going on. But divergence for MACD, that'll be if we make new highs, but the MACD is diverging and failing to follow. So this could mean, hey, even though we hit this price level, there's not that much to back it up. It's all kind of a smoke screen. And that's what's nice. Beyond what we're seeing in terms of price action on the chart, this will tell you what's going on under the surface. It'll give you a little x-ray into the secret market movements there. That's going to be my analogy for that. Some advanced tips for this include, to commodity channel index, the CCI. So that can help you identify trending and ranging markets. And also rate of change. So this will give you kind of a sense of sensitivity to recent price movements and help identify short-term accumulation. But always make sure to back test your strategies.
Yes.
And make sure that you're reacting to historical data and market behavior. Shout out to Trade Ideas and the NOS boss.
The NOS ball.
Also, one thing I like the way you said that. One thing I want to say too is you can also use stuff like this with regards to if you're already in a trade, being like, hey, should I stay or should I go now? Shout out to the clash, because if these prices are clashing, you might want to have to get out, right? And so if you're seeing these issues with volume, if you're seeing, hey, we're kind of having a hard time, we're sticking to this level in a way I don't really like, maybe you want to leave. And when I say scalpulation, that's a lot of what I'm referring to. If we're in a trend and then we're seeing some sticky situations that make us think this might not actually be feasible. So that's my food for thought there on momentum indicators. Let's talk about trend confirmation, last but never least. So this is really important because accumulation will often occur with an uptrend, suggesting buying pressure, distribution often happening. New resistance levels in uptrends or at the start of downtrends. So that's important to note too. Distribution in and of itself can sometimes be a little bit bamboozling.
Yes.
Shout out to Sharif. And that really, like, if you're kind of looking at where we're having these sticking points, and that's how kind of trends develop, right? Or ranges develop, because we have areas that we're struggling to get above or below. So if you can identify that, then that can be really key, and that can help you understand these trends. If you confirm a trend, it can help you really see a genuine accumulation distribution from short-term fluctuations within a larger trend. So some techniques here, moving averages, the MAs. I use the 9MA a lot, and I actually find it really, really helpful. Again, not everything is going to be helpful 100% of the time, but they're little tools that you can put in your tool belt in addition to, part of a balanced trading diet. You want your VWAP, you want your moving averages, you want whatever indicators you use, right? I think it's just one part of a little picture. Also, too, if you have a moving average crossover, they can kind of signal the golden cross or the death cross, right? If they're crossing over each other, this can show a potential trend change and make you kind of adjust your accumulation distribution interpretations. Trend lines are really important too. Like I use these all the time in the ranges, and it really, if we break above or below, especially with strong volume, that can be a sign this is not a range anymore. A whole new trend is coming out, and that's why I'm sure you're going to be chatting about Tesla in a bit. But I think that's the big thing with Tesla breaking above that. Sorry, I don't want to false advertise there, because Tesla was really stuck to that 185. 186.50 top, and so when it broke above, that was significant, right? So that's just one example, although I do not want to step on Sharif's toes there.
Oh, it's all good. You're good.
The Tesla king today there. Technical indicators also really important that you can use ADX, average directional index, to look at trend strength, and the MACD can also help you confirm trend direction.
Bang.
So that is our little spiel du jour, and hopefully we all learned some things. Like I said, I think the really cool thing about accumulation distribution is it's everywhere in the market. We just don't really think about it.
100%.
And it's a little about being more cognizant of all the little ways that it's hanging out.
Yeah, and like, oftentimes too, we see it and we don't really know what we're looking at. Like when Elon was selling Tesla last year to fund his Twitter, right? You could just see the selling program, just sell all day, and there would be no hiccup in the selling. So that's clearly a case of distribution. Not all of them are going to be that extreme, right? And not all of them are going to be buying program based. But the majority of big money are going to use buying programs, right? They're not going to sit there, adding at different levels. All right, I have to digress here because we have to take some profits here on TSLA as it makes its way into the mid 90s. We got long at 61. Tesla's been putting in higher lows and higher highs the majority of the morning, say from 11 o'clock onwards. We're now knocking on the door of 187, and we've broken through 17.8 on the future. Have we taken 17.8 on a closing basis? Time will tell, because we could do the wick shimmy dance and absolutely tank back down. I've already taken 40% out of this Tesla trade. I'm holding 60%. I'm waiting for a decisive clearance of 187. We may or may not get it. We have 187.06 technically as the high of day. So we're about 5 pennies or so, 6 pennies or so away from that. That was the pop there at around 10:15 or so, 10:20, pardon me. That was when we made the high of day. It hasn't been anywhere near that level until now. So let's go ahead and put another beak wetter on the other side of 187. We're going to put it at 187.07 because what is life without whimsy? And then we have now some size starting to accumulate at 187 at the whole dollar level. That's to be expected. You're going to encounter psychological and technical resistance likely, especially in a down day like today. Well, I don't want to call it a down day, but it's been a down move ever since yesterday. At the $1 level, at the half-dollar level sometimes. So we'll see if we can break through 187. We're having trouble clearing 187 at the moment. That size is coming into play and keeping Tesla down for now. We've already put our profit taker on the other side. We'll have to wait and see if that one actually punches through. So we're going to let that one play out. Apple, though. Apple's coming up, and it's coming up aggressively. So we did end up taking that profit taker, surprise, surprise, at 182.45. But look what happened, essentially, since we got that profit taker. It just shot up. Literally, that is bottom look on the day, right? I think actually there might be a little bit, I think it went to 44s. So we got 45s. I'm probably going to flatten out Apple here at this level if it does take that one, if it comes into my 182.50, right? So I'm going to let Apple go. I'm only holding a minuscule amount of the position. We've already, taken everything out. We're looking for a decisive move on Apple here into 182, 183, let's say mid-30s. And then I'll give myself a 10 penny buffer or so from my entry on AAPL. So please just punch about both these trades. But I am more concerned about the Tesla trade because it is coming into that level and holding up. But I'm going to try to exercise some patience on it. The question to myself is, how much room do I give it? Do I give it down into my entry or even more? That's really going to come down to the conviction that I have on the trade, and the conviction has to be influenced by the technicals, right? So you can't have high conviction with crappy technicals. There has to be a reason why you have that C word, and it's got to be based on technicals. Yeah, not that C word. All right. But yeah, you know what I mean.
I'm just laughing because that happened last time we said it.
Yeah, I know. Everybody started lighting up in the chat there, and I already made a blunder today with that individual.
That was an accident. That was an accident.
Well, it's not even an accident technically. I can say it. It's his name.
That's true, right? That was his name. But yeah, but I mean, I know you, it's not yeah, but yeah, the sofa ruler, we'll say.
The Katina man has taken some out of arm at 127.50. He just put that in the chat. And I've told you guys a bunch of times, I know a lot of people want to see what the Katina men are trading, and oftentimes they are putting their new positions or profit takers or stops or whatever in the chat, so you can keep apprised of all that. That may not be for much longer, guys, as we are waiting on that second stream. And let me tell you, I'm not going to say anything, but I saw some stuff today. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I didn't see anything, Sean.
So I was going to do the thing where he fake choked Sharif again on the
I was told specifically not to say anything, but
yeah.
I weaseled something in there like that. Yeah. Eh? No, you
or
just,
whatever that thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
no, the Katina man was
not
assaulting.
choke, sorry, not whatever's happening there.
All right, guys.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm blind, apparently.
Tesla is encountering a lot of resistance, Adara, at this 187 level. Whether or not we get a clean break of this, we're going to have to wait and see. But looks like we're Accumulating at 187. We'll see if we get the break.
I love the pun. Thank you very much. That made me very happy. Also, yeah, I apologize. Massaging, not fake choking. It's happening behind my head. And all I know is there is an aggressive action in the
Yeah. No,
but yeah,
good.
apologies for that. All in good fun. We have a great time over here. And also with that in mind, there's a really great reel that was released today on our Instagram. The Trader TV Instagram
that was amazing.
gives you a little behind the scenes there. Brandy is in it. Pam, yeah,
you guys got to listen to how Adara says pump it.
I do my version of the patented Sharif pamp it in the video, and it's something. So you can check that out. But yeah, we do have a really good time here. No one is choking anyone. People are giving massages, and I apologize.
We're all good there.
The accidental false advertising there. Also, yeah, NVIDIA trying to break my heart a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm joking. I just should have gotten in earlier. This is what you said. If you have conviction, why aren't you getting into a trade? And I know you and I were talking about this off screen with the Apple reload. You were saying, if I feel good about a trade, why am I not adding to it? Why am I not, within reason, right? Like planned DCAs. But that's my issue with this NVIDIA. I like the 730
Yeah, this was totally planned.
And I just that's what with the Apple, you totally had a plan, right? But that's what I'm saying is like you had a plan, and that I totally agree with what you're saying, and I think I should have done that with NVIDIA. The 730 failure was beautiful. It was an earlier area of support, becoming a very clear earlier area of resistance, and I just didn't punch it in time, but that's okay. You know what? Where is the next trade? Going to brush the dirt off the shoulders and just wait for the next thing to happen there. Yeah. Oh, Tesla going apparently. How? What say you?
Oh, we can't hear it. Ram. How come you put the volume down? Like we're excited. We want to hear it. Money, money, money. Yelling, Sean yelling, money, money. There we go. Hit it, Katina man. ARM down to 127 again. So the Katina man continuing to beat down on ARM on the day. Here comes Tesla again. We're going to put another profit taker there in the high teens. Let's see if it fills. And there it is, Adara. Tesla to the upside, baby. Let's take Tesla north. Woo! Let's see if we get that print. I'm going to sit now at the 50s. Let's see what we get here. We are at high of day. So it is a nice move up here for Tesla, breaking into high of day in like what they call the less liquid time of day. So we'll have to wait and see if we continue to get this advance on Tesla, but it does break through 187 here. Tesla has been strong on the day, guys. It is now no, I was going to say it's the number one name, but Meta still takes that crown. Meta's up 2 1/4. Tesla's up 1 3/4. My next profit taker, I'm looking 187.5 on TSLA.
Yeah, congrats to you. You are in that Cybertruck to the upside. Must be a good day there for that was a weak one, but yeah, good day to be long on Tesla.
Wow, your brain is just unique. Like you just come up with them like that, man. Like
I mean, I don't know. I like words. I was like that really nerdy kid.
I like words too, but you think differently than me, though. You're the way you're programmed is a little different. I like it. Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's no bad comment. I just don't want you to think that.
No, I know. I don't. I mean, I accidentally accused Sean of like choking you for jokes there. So we're all in good fun here.
Yes.
And yeah, no, I think like honestly though, and that's why I brought up this video is we really do have a great time trying to educate everyone, having a good time, making some trades.
Yes, ma'am.
And laughing and crying a little bit when we don't get this NVIDIA fill to the upside, but all in good fun. Yeah, we held this EMA really well here, that 728.50 area, same area that I got out earlier of that failed long, but I do think this is a really clear range. If this range holds, when we get back to 730, I'm getting to take this short again, that 728.50. We like ranges here, and let's say it together. Pamp it for Tesla.
Pamp it. Yeah, absolutely. Could we somehow, organize something where Apple dumps and Tesla pumps? I mean, I know that they're both on the future. Yeah, so the Katina man has just offered now to sell Apple, so we could actually have that happen on the show. Diamond Realty of Miami. Women have a different program. I don't know. I think they're equally as brilliant and as funny as men. So shout out to them. The Katina man says he disagrees. They're way better. But yeah, Adara's killing it today on the ones and twos, babe. On the puns. And it's Ram killing it on the ones and twos, babe. The Chilean Nightmare is, I don't know, he's building something. I'm not sure what he's doing over there, but he's building. He's always building. He's on ladders.
Yeah.
He's always up to something, baby. All right, let's keep it on trading, baby. But because I'm sitting now at 187.33, looking for that move through the third of a dollar. I'm holding 40% of the position still on TSLA. I'll be looking to wet my beak at the third of a dollar, and then I'll be looking to take profits again, if possible, at the $0.5 level. Ideally, I want to defend of this 187. The reason is we knew that 187 was going to be a key resistance level going to what we saw over here from essentially 140 to about 145, about, 10 minutes or 5 minutes, 6 minutes worth of a top. And then we go back to even earlier than that, the IB high as well as the 1020 pop all stopped at 187. So now I'm looking for 187 to act as a level of support because it was clearly resistance earlier. Whether or not we get that, we'll have to wait and see. But I've already put my profit taker there on the other side of 30s. It's sitting at 187.33 on TSLA. And it looks like we're about to get filled. And there we go again, baby. TSLA pumping to the high side. We get the fill at 187.33. The next fill is going to be at 49s. We're going to front run that $0.5 by a penny or two. And we're making our way up here aggressively on Tesla because we're almost at the low 40s. Aggressive move here on TSLA, now up 1.83. Nice midday move on Tesla. Please, Des Punch.
Yeah, happy to hear it. And I mean, certainly happy for you there. What a move. Apple is rotten and Tesla's flying, and everyone's pleased with Punch over here. Speaking of Punch, may have punched in too early on this NVIDIA short. Basically, I still like the 730 range. If we break into that 731, I am saying sayonara. And this is a scalp if I ever have done one. Okay, yeah, NVIDIA's making me regret my life choices here. We're jumping into VWAP here. This one will steal your life savings in one fell swoop. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens here for sure. Yeah. How are you doing
there's a lot of talk about Palantir. Do you want to have a look at Palantir?
Yeah, let's look at P to the L to the T to the R because
awesome.
NVIDIA is falling back down from that 731. Thank
Bang.
you, ma'am. Okay, PLTR. I was saying, this looked like it could have been head and shouldery, but then we're trying to make a new higher. We're trying to bounce off that 2550 because I thought this could have been the shoulder, but now it's like actually this was a hunchback. I may have another shoulder. So let's see what we do with this 25. If we're kind of trying to bounce back up here. Like I said, I mentioned this one earlier. Main level I'm going to be watching is at 2540 because also look at this little tail we had here, this top and tail candle.
Yep.
So I think that could be really key. There was a swift rejection here.
Good call.
Thank you. Let me look at the daily on this. Also, I don't look at Palantir a lot. I know Sean is very familiar with that stock. He's got the hat to match. Shout out to Biggie on that, but he really does have the Palantir hat.
And he has it in his personal account too.
Yeah, right. Like he is all about the Palantir life there. And let me pull up the daily on Palantir. Apologies, my P-Pro 8 just did a little thing there, so we got to pull it back up. And okay, this looks kind of like a bull flag on the daily, no? Like it could be a bull flag.
What is that, the 1 or the 3?
That's the day.
That's the daily.
That's the daily.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, because we were saying too, if you see something on a wider time frame, that can sometimes be a little bit more evidence,
always.
stronger.
Almost always. The thing is about being fractal, remember the rule, you can use your the technical analysis on all time frames, but the lower you go on the timeline, the more the failure rate increases.
Okay, I see what you mean. So there's a little bit more confluence or a little bit stronger should we actually have a breakout here. And yeah, I think, again, we can't diagnose a move before it happens. I will say, though, that this strong push up on earnings and these little chop and turns we have from there, from that 24 to the 25 area, could be pretty strong. And this was a really strong breakout, especially out of a pseudo downtrend that begun in the middle of the November to Remember, petering out here, and then we swooped up with a vengeance. I think this is a nice look. Honestly, on the daily, and I think intraday, like I said, my main level is going to be if we assassinate that 2540, if we take it out with the viciousness. Right now, though, we do continue to struggle with 2510. Sancho, yeah, thank you for catching that Biggie reference there. I had to shout out, and certainly this market has been quite juicy indeed today.
Without looking at Dara, how much is SMCI up on the day?
8.89%.
Wow.
Actually, I'm not looking.
8.86. That was scary, bro.
Guess,
and now it's 8.89.
That was like an edge, because I know we said 7 earlier, and I know SMCI was crazy, so I was like, what's a realistic amount it could have bounced?
So, Adara, SMCI now up on the year 203%.
Pardon?
It's like the worst kept secret in the microchips. Yet I'm not punching in. I don't know anybody in this office who's long SMCI in their personal account.
It's a little mean.
Very frustrating. Yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated by it. I can't speak for anybody else, but anyway.
What a time to be alive.
So yeah, we're gonna have to ban this clown in the chat, and he's banned. All right, let's keep an eye on this 187 here to see if it's gonna hold on Tesla. That's been my look. I'm looking for 187 to act as another area of support. I've got another profit taker just in front of 50 pennies. 187.48 is where that bad boy is taken. But this is the trade that I have to end here because it looks like Apple's done going down on the day, and now it's starting to put in higher highs. And this is why I say that, because while we had two crests over here that we could gauge the higher high, higher low situation, and well, we decidedly broke through that. And we also broke through the whole dollar level, 183. We're having trouble holding 183 for now, but I think, you know, I don't know if I see this 182.40 or 39 profit taker really triggering anytime soon. We have about 6 minutes left on the show. I don't think it triggers before then. So we may have to end this Apple trade over here. It was a good trade. I'm happy about it. We really danced with Apple all day. Took this initial short here at 183.76. We rode it all the way down into 182.80 and then got out a little bit over here. Added to the position again as the price level came back into that resistance level. It was previously support on Apple, flipped to be resistance. Look how perfectly that looked. We added again on this bad boy, and then we wet our beak with several profit takers down again into that 182.50. The best print we've had today on Apple has been that 182.46 print over here, but now it is having a little bit of issues with that. Now let's flip back to Tesla because we did break 187 on Tesla. So I have to be very careful here. I'm long 61s. I'm still holding 40% of the position, 30% of the position, excuse me. So it's coming in aggressively into my entry. If this comes into 61s, I'm hitting the flatten button. We're not going to let any part of this trade go against me. And if that means leaving money on the table, so be it. I don't care. I'm not going to give any money back on this bad boy. Let's see if it holds up at this level. It didn't hold up at 187 though, so I think that is a bad sign on TSLA. It should have held up at 187 and it didn't. Here comes, now we're at 69s, printing 69s. That comes into 61s. I'm out of there. I'm going to send it to you to put my stop.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, and I think
someone got excited there. I
felt badly because we're kind of. I mean, to be fair, this is not really a winner. This is coming back into my point of entry now. I got involved in this short too early, but we didn't have that decisive VWAP break that I needed. That decisive break into 732. Okay, sorry. Now I'm getting excited. I apologize. But yeah, we got a beak one already at 729. Should we be able to get out Nvidia? I have part of the position ready to leave there. Shout out to Sean. Which one?
What's up, Sean? ARM down again. The Katina man continuing to beat up on ARM on the day, not letting it out of the corner.
It's not even that. It's the same play.
Are you reloading? Yeah, so you're reloading. That's what I'm saying. You're not letting it out of the corner. Yeah, the Katina man is reloading on ARM, and he's beating up that name. And I just got out of Tesla as it did break into that 186.60 Adara. Out of that, profitable trade, but down we go on the future again. We reject 17.8 with the decisiveness here to play off your expression of the swiftness. Down we go here. It was 17.8 touch. Best we could do on this pop was 17.814, and down we go again. We're holding up here at VWAP, so let's see if this is just a momentary bounce, but this is not what we look for when we come to take a 100-point level. You want to do the wick shimmy dance from the north side, not from the south side. And right here, we rejected 17.8 quickly. So out of Tesla. Now, let's go back and look at Apple. Is Apple tanking again? Well, not tanking, but it is down off that 183 into the mid-80s here. But I doubt we really see 182.39. That's about 50 pennies away from where we are right now, Darryl. But we did reject quite nicely. Let's see if we continue on the way down with 3 minutes left on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, this was the type of scalp that dreams are made of, but also nightmares are made of. It was a very stressful time, but really, I think it was patience. It was like, you know what, we could not decisively claim anything above that 731 with any swiftness, with any viciousness, with any decision. So I decided, you know what, or decisiveness, I guess, whatever word you want to use. So I decided to stay in it. Happy I did. Patience paid. I had the little beak waters at the ready, and we went, to quote Sharif, down. So, all right, Sharif and Sean and everyone here. So I'm pretty happy with this. You know what? I think it goes back to patience, because honestly, I think the Adara of a month ago would have gotten out the second we dipped above VWAP. But I was like, you know what? It's still not giving me a reason. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Happy with this. And yeah, shout out to Meek Mills, says Diamond Realty in Miami. Yeah, not someone I've listened to in a long time, but shout out. Ian Respeto, $4.99 super chat.
I answered him.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry,
but
you did.
you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just read it out there here too. Any stocks you both are looking to add for your long portfolio anytime soon? What looks good for long hold? I honestly, I will say I use a financial advisor, so I believe, you know, I think there's like a Scotia Tesla in there. I know it's a lot of ETF type stuff, but I think for myself personally, like I was even thinking about this morning, like what would I be long-term interested in? If there was any kind of pullback in NVIDIA, I feel like that name just keeps popping.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's like SMCI,
may not
it's
get
kind of
that,
dangerous
though.
to get involved, though. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's super realistic. Thank you for answering that one in the chat, though, as well.
I think you're probably going to be advising your financial advisor, and within a few years, you're going to be like, I want these stocks in my portfolio, right? You're not going to be taking advice from him. You're going to be giving him advice, baby.
Thank you. I feel like I'm already like kind of, you know, sometimes like we have a conversation and sometimes I'll be like, oh, like, you know, I feel confident about that. You know what I mean? So what's nice too, because I feel like I honestly think the being here has given me a better sense of financial literacy, because you're looking at the stocks every day. You're looking at the market. You're looking at the CPI. You're looking at the 2 PPIs in a week, right? Like we're in the midst of all of it. So it's been quite a cool look here too. Also, Nick W asking about Hood. So I'm going to quickly look at this with 30 seconds left before, you know, we turn over here. Ooh, okay, this pop at VWAP's interesting. We got above this earlier area of consolidation here at this 1330. Also, where we were entering, where we kind of started the pre-market. So that would be a key look. Next, I would be interested in 1355, then that 1316 area, 1370, just any area where we previously had consolidations. But for now, what we're going to be interested in are the big kahunas. We will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Brendan's at the big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. Couple hours left on a Wednesday here as we get into the remainder of the afternoon. I was just noticing the market downside there off of 5,000 once again for the